Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Otherworldly Fundraising. This is day 3, part 2. That's a lot of numbers that we're throwing at you, but we're trying to keep it as simple as possible. This is the virtual convention that you can attend from the comfort of your very own home or office, wherever you may be in the world. We are here to benefit one simple wish, which provide resources to kids in foster care and kids all around the country and the world. If you'd like to donate, the link is located in the description of this video, as well as currently scrolling across the bottom of your screen. So certainly keep that in mind as we go throughout the course of this show. We thank you for being here. We greatly appreciate all the support we've gotten over the course of this weekend. So far, we are at $940 in donations, and we can't thank you all enough for your contributions and your donations to this incredible fundraiser that we're doing over the course of this weekend. And we thank all of our special guests who've been joining us since Friday. We've had some special events on Friday. We had special events on Saturday. You can go back and watch those videos. They are located on our Facebook and YouTube pages, respectively. But before you get into that, we got to wrap up this day known as the Sunday festivities. We are expecting our next guest here any minute. But in the meantime, I want to take this moment to introduce you one of our producers and moderators. Please welcome Steph to the stage. Hello, Steph. How are you?
Hi, Ryan. How are you? I'm good.
Oh, yes, I'm doing quite well. Thank you for being with us. Do greatly appreciate it. Have you enjoyed your time with us so far this weekend?
I have, yes.
All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. And by the way, for those of you just joining us, don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends because they're going to like the way they look after watching or listening to Otherworldly Fundraising, benefiting one simple wish. We guarantee it. Steph, what have been some of the highlights for you so far this weekend? What are some of the guests that you've enjoyed hearing from thus far?
I enjoyed hearing from Darren Kirsch about the Zack Snyder DC on Friday night. I had a lot of fun helping moderate the trivia on Friday night as well. That trivia was a lot of fun. And the panel that just happened, the reunion that just happened, that was also a lot of fun to help moderate.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was some. So we've had some great, wonderful guests over the course of this weekend. It's been very entertaining to watch. Yeah, some of the ones that have stood out for me. Yes, the Snyderverse Hour that I moderated along with Darren Kirch. That was a lot of fun. Great to hear from him, and we wish him the best with everything moving forward. One of the other ones, what was it? Doug Jones was here with us. That was a good conversation. Some of the other guests who have come in have been a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to seeing how the rest of Sunday's festivities go as soon as our guest makes their appearance known. But also, if you're wondering what we're doing here, we're benefiting one simple wish. So feel free to make a donation. Every donation that's $10 or more gets you entered into a sweepstakes to win some incredible prizes. So definitely make sure you leave your contact information, whether it's an email or a social media handle, whether that's on Facebook or Instagram, if you have an Instagram account. Please let us know your information about that so we can send those prizes out to you should you be the winner after this weekend is done and we draw the names and get all that stuff done and send it out to you respectively. But yeah, this weekend has been a lot of fun. We hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have any thoughts about it, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Be more than happy to hear from you. What are some ideas or things you would hope to see in Otherworldly Fundraising moving forward for 2024 and stuff of that nature? So, Steph, I'm going to dive into this here for just a moment, if you don't mind. What is the main thing or one of the things that is still on your bucket list?
One of the main things that I'd still like to do is visit someplace other than the airport in the Midwest and the West Coast of the United States.
All right, explore more territories there. Explore more pieces of the country that you have not seen yet. I could see that. Yeah, for let's see. For me, I wouldn't mind going to some of the conventions that are in and around the country, whether it be New York Comic Con or maybe even, I don't know. I hear Dragon Con is a lit party, so maybe that might be a little too crazy for me. I don't know. Maybe I can handle it. Maybe I can't. I don't know. But we'll figure that out as we go as we go along. But if you have something on your bucket list you want to share with us, as we're going through today here at Otherworldly Fundraising 2023. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Be more than happy to hear from you. Some people are already chiming in. I want to take a moment here. Keisha Acuff says, hello, beautiful people. Keisha, how you doing, superstar? How everything's going well in your neck of the woods? Congrats on the birth of the new, the new baby. Give the new loved one our best, will you? Do us a favor. Oh my goodness, such a wonderful person she is. With that being said, if you could, speaking of newborns, Keisha, if you want to answer this too, you're more than welcome to here in the chat. But Steph, if you could install one piece of advice within a baby's mind, what advice would you give that baby?
I um honestly, I would probably say have fun and don't take life too seriously.
Wow, simple and to the point. I respect that. I respect that. Man, piece of advice. I mean, this is going to sound cliche, and I apologize if it does. Take a look. It's in a book. Just read. Read as much as you can because books are amazing. Books can teach you things. There's a lot of things you can do with a book. You can read a fictional story. You can read a non-fictional story. You can read. You can read up on statistics. You can read up on any kind of subject matter that you're into, whether it be art or history or was it sports, something like that. That could be something to get into. I don't know. Keisha says, my young one, she is watching with me. Stay little forever. Oh my gosh. Keisha's having too much fun here in the chat. I got to tell you, she also says, I also love books. Well, Keisha, if you have a favorite book or a set of books, if you want to dive into that, let us know. Let us know in the chat. Be curious to hear your thoughts. And that goes for you who may be watching or listening to this. Let us know some of your favorite books, whether they be fiction or nonfiction. It doesn't matter. Everything is fair game here on the show. With that being said, if you could install any one piece of advice within a baby's mind, what piece of advice would you give that baby? So let us know in the comments for those of you maybe watching or listening to us. Goodness gracious. Let's see, Steph. What is the one thing you'll be really disappointed if you never get to experience it? Could be anything.
I wanna at some point I wanna try and see like the stars or a meteor shower near like where the Northern Lights is.
Wow. Yeah, I'd like to see those northern lights too. I've seen pictures, right? We've seen images on the interwebs, and I've learned about it here and there. So I'd be curious. I'd like to see that. Hmm. Interesting. Keisha dives in. She says, my favorite childhood set of books would be A Series of Unfortunate Events with Lemony Snickets. Okay. You familiar with that stuff? Have you read that?
I have not, no.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I know there was a Jim Carrey movie that came out many years ago, and then they rebooted it as a Netflix, excuse me, TV series. Don't want to get into that. But either way, that's neither here nor there. Jeez. What is one thing I'll be disappointed in if I never get to experience it? Wow. Hmm. That's tough. I would say I would say Star Wars. Well, I can't say the property because everything's on strike, but a certain celebration that surrounds a certain fandom that shall not be named. So there you go. I'm going to go with that. That's where I'm going to go with that one. And then Keisha dives in. She says, my favorite set in my teens was Vampire Kisses from Ellen Schreiber. Is that how you say it? Schreiber? Okay. Hmm. Vampires. You ever hear of that one, Steph? Vampire Kisses from Ellen
I have
Schreiber?
not, no.
No? Okay. We're discovering all kinds of new things today when it comes to books, aren't we, Steph?
We are, yeah.
We are. We really are. Oh my goodness. And then Keisha says, now that I'm an adult, my favorite thing to read are textbooks. Oh my gosh, really?
You try.
Textbook? She said textbooks. I don't know. Man, textbooks. I don't know if I can read one anymore. I haven't really read one since college. I don't know. You have any feelings on that, Steph? Can you read a textbook today, or is that kind of something that you would avoid at all
No,
costs?
that's not something I like. I probably could read one. It's not something that wouldn't be my first go to though.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. All right. That's fair. It's fair. Phew, gosh. And then Keisha goes on to say, yes, I own over 100 and I've read them for fun, known as textbooks to be more specific. That's way too many, Keisha. That's way too many textbooks. I'm sorry. Where do you even have the space for that? 100 textbooks? Do you know how big those things are? Have you seen? I mean, I don't know. If anyone else has thoughts on that and how you can properly store a section worth of textbooks, let us know in the chat. Be curious to hear your thoughts. Steph, where do you go when you need to blow off some steam? Hmm. Anything strange?
Usually I try and take a walk outside.
So you walk, you just be a part of nature,
Yeah.
right? Is that it? Okay. All right. Nothing wrong with that. I know, many people have done that. Let's see. Keisha says, I never have enough space. I have a home library. Oh, boy. Never enough. I have a home library. Great. Where do I go when I want to blow? I just, I don't really have a specific place anymore now that I've moved from one place to another, but going for a walk always helps. Whether it's going for a walk around your apartment complex, or you're going around, what is it? Going for a walk around the neighborhood, I should say. Maybe going for, you know what? If there's a walking trail near where you live, who may be watching and listening to this right now, just go on a walking trail. You know, it's the best. It's the best. It's one of the. It's a free piece of advice. You don't even have to pay a nickel for it. So once again, this is Otherworldly Fundraising. And we're doing this to benefit one simple wish. If you wish to make a donation, the link is located in the description below of this video. It's also located currently scrolling across the bottom of your screen. And this is going towards one simple wish to provide resources to kids in foster care. These could be resources as simple as books for school, notebooks, and hygiene products, clothing products, all that kind of stuff. It goes for a really great cause. So check it out. We would, if you make a donation of $10 or more, you get entered into a drawing to win some fabulous prizes. So definitely check that out. Links are located in the description below. Oh my goodness, this is going to throw the person who may be watching or listening to this right now for a loop. But Steph, what's the strangest thing you've ever seen in the middle of the road? Oh boy, this can go in a couple of different directions.
Yeah. I'm actually not sure.
You're not sure.
Yeah.
You're not sure. Okay, well, strangest thing I've ever seen in the middle of the road. Probably an article of clothing that I'm not going to describe here on the air, but I've seen some things. Strange. Article of clothing, maybe a shirt, pair of pants, maybe some other articles of clothing that I'm not at liberty to discuss, but I don't know. It's a crazy mix of war we're living in when someone throws something in the middle of the road. I don't know. I mean, we've all, roadkill notwithstanding, but gosh, strange. Have you the person who's watching or listening to this? Have you seen anything strange in the middle of the road that's just out there? Maybe a few rings short of Saturn. I don't know. Let us know. Steph, did you have a favorite teacher or a teacher who made a big impact on your life? Anybody? Hmm. Too bad we can't play a certain theme song from a certain game show.
When um
Hmm.
yeah, when I was younger, like in elementary school, I had several teachers that saw past some of my challenges and pushed me to try better. Like and to push me to like try harder because they knew I could do it.
All right, all right. I respect that. I respect that. Hmm. Favorite teacher or teacher? You know what? I'm going to go with this teacher. She changed her name somewhat into the uh, what was it? My high school? Yeah, high school because she got married, right? So Miss Johnson, big impact on my life because she was my drama teacher, theater director. She was great. She was fantastic, and she's done really well with everything she's been doing at our alma mater of a high school, and her family has done very well. So, Mrs. Johnson, if you're watching this, wish you and the family the best. You guys are great. We love you, and wish you all the best moving forward. Let's see, Dan. I'm going to ask you this question here. Did you have a favorite teacher or teacher who made what is known as a big impact on your life, Dan Johnson?
Actually, I did. 10th grade English teacher, Mrs. Shores. She is the first teacher that really encouraged me to become a writer.
Oh, okay, all right. I dig that. I dig that. Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Let's see. We don't have to go too crazy here with this. What am I saying here? With this next question. But what do you feel? And we gotta take certain situations that are going on in the world outside of the equation. But what do you feel people complain too much about these days, Steph? Anything spring to mind? Maybe there's not enough books. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. There's plenty of books, fiction or otherwise.
Yeah.
Anyone else feel that way? Probably. You need a moment. You need a moment to think about it, Steph.
No, I have something. I'm figuring out how to explain it. Like certain
Mm-hmm.
certain like discussions and things like that over fandoms because like one person likes one thing but the other person doesn't like that thing, and how like complaints and things of that nature can spring from that.
Okay, I got you. I got
So
you.
like when Star Trek fans and Star Wars fans get into it over just different fandoms and such.
Just that, yeah.
All right. Yeah, we can go. Yeah, that's fair. There's a
I
number
agree.
of.
I agree with you 100%. I'm like Star Wars, Star Trek. It doesn't matter. Babylon 5 beats both of them. But hey, I kid. I kid. I kid. There's room for all.
I was gonna say I can't comment or speculate on Babylon 5 because I've never seen it. But
Dude,
don't
you
worry.
gotta see it.
I know it's
Dude.
on the list. It's on the 600-mile long list that I'm never going to get to, but it's on there. Trust me. And I've met one of the individuals who shall not be named from that series, and he was very nice. He was a nice dude. So with that being said, and once again, for those of you just joining us, this is Otherworldly Fundraising, benefiting one simple wish. If you have any questions for our guest, once the guest arrives, or if you have any questions for us, the moderators or producers here in the studio, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. If you wish to make a donation, the link is located in the description of this video below. It's also currently scrolling across the bottom of your screen. If you go there and you donate $10 or more, enters you into a drawing to win some fabulous prizes, and we're aiming for a very certain number here. We're getting dangerously close. We want to exceed that number. We want to go over the top. Yeah. So if you can donate $10 or more, hey, you know what they say, right? Every little bit helps. If you find it in your heart to do so, please do, and share that donation link with all of your friends. We greatly appreciate it. With that being said, I think Dan Johnson, is it fair to say, did your childhood shape you into who you are today? Yes or no?
I would say I did want to say I didn't know if you guys knew we reached the $1,000 mark.
Woo! Okay, yeah, I did not know that. Yeah, there you go.
Priscilla Barnes,
Yeah.
Joyce DeWitt made a very nice. She said some very nice things about all of us and the charity. And Priscilla said, "We've got it on camera. To contact her, she'll make up the $60 that we need for 1,000. So we have reached the goal that was intended for this weekend, which is fantastic. But we got the steak. Now we need the gravy. So what we need for folks to do is to just keep piling that money on. Next goal right now is $1,500. So
we can do it.
Break out the wallets.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. John Shea is available, but you know what? We're gonna hold him hostage until we get another $100. So we need $100. And then John Shea will be here. No, I kid. John Shea is not here, but maybe I'm kidding. Maybe I'm not. Donate $100 and find out. Prove me a liar. But childhood, yes. I would say so. As I was talking with someone last night, where I grew up at, we didn't have a lot of neighbors. Our nearest neighbor was like a half mile away, and didn't have any kids. Nearest kids were probably about 2 miles away. So I ended up spending a lot of time reading comic books and playing with Mego action figures and watching television. And that world of imagination definitely formed who I became as far as being a nerd, but also wanting to become a writer too. So
There you go. There you go. Do you agree with this, Steph? That did your childhood shape you
I
into who you are today?
I do, yes. I I had always loved movie musicals and then had gotten into theater, and then theater was what really um like changed and shaped who I was. And then I did theater for a long time, and then I I looked to writing as a way to um also express myself. And I had always been a big reader, but I didn't read as many books as I nearly do now. But I always had books around when I was growing up. So all three of those things really shaped who I am today.
Okay, question for you guys. Did you find that your parents were supportive of your nerdy tendencies?
You know, they. I mean, I don't know. Steph, did you want to? I didn't want to step on anyone's toes here in the studio. Steph, did you want to answer this first? Or you want me to go ahead and
No, you can go.
proceed? Okay, so I'm going to go with this for a minute. So here's the funny thing about my family. I am the biggest nerd in my family. No one else really, no one cares. But here's the thing: do they support my nerdum to a degree? Yes, they do. They absolutely do. But they don't support it in the way that, oh, I'm willing to go to this convention with you. Oh, I'm willing to go to this place. Oh, I want to meet this person, so I'll go with you to meet them. Et cetera, et cetera. Right. So I'm the biggest nerd in my family. I'm like the outsider of my family because I grew up with two brothers. So I have two older brothers, and me being the youngest. Hey, there's some fun facts on this Sunday Fun Day, and they don't get it. They don't get it. They don't understand it. And I'm thinking, hey, some people have fandom in their blood, some people don't, and that's okay because we all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses, respectively. And fandom/nerdom just isn't their cup of tea. It isn't our thing. But hey, on the flip side of it all, I've made a lot of good friends, because of it. So there you go. Any thoughts on that one, Steph?
Awesome.
Oh, I would echo what Ryan said. I am probably the nerdiest member in my immediate family as well, and I talk about a lot of the like nerdy things that I'm into, and they do listen to me talk for hours on end about it. But like conventions and meetups and all that kind of stuff just isn't really my immediate family's thing either.
Gotcha. I was lucky. I had siblings that weren't into it, but my parents were. My parents supported reading comics, and they supported me using my imagination. I think the fact that my mother, who was a lifelong reader, loved the fact she had one child that wanted to read and actually wanted to write. And I will admit that I was able to take my mom to several conventions when her health was declining, just so I can keep an eye on her and also get her out of the house. And my proudest accomplishment was I actually got her to meet Bruce Campbell in person.
Groovy.
I
That's
think Bruce
groovy.
Campbell, I think Bruce would have taken her home with him too if he could have. She was in the wheelchair at the time, and when we went, we were like 265th in line. And one of the people at the bookstore they were doing the signing. He was doing a signing for his book, Gems Could Kill, and we were like 265th in line. And then one of the bookstore owners asked if I would like to jump to the head of the line since she was in the wheelchair. And Campbell, she was like easily the oldest person there. She had to be at least 30 years older than the oldest person at that event. Campbell loved her. He freaked out a little bit when he found out she had watched Evil Dead 2. He said, you saw Evil Dead 2? And she's like, yeah, Danny showed it to me. And he looked at me and he's like, you are a sick monkey, man. What are you doing making your mother watch Evil Dead 2? I wouldn't make my mother watch Evil Dead 2, and I'm in the thing. So, but he was a lot of fun.
Oh my goodness.
I
That
think
is.
family is very important as far as encouraging this kind of stuff. I think either you run to nerdom because your family doesn't get you, or you run to nerdom because they support the love that you have for it. So
That's an interesting thought on that. It's kind of a paradox, maybe. I don't know. But what isn't a paradox is this incredible event known as Otherworldly Fundraising. If you're just joining us, don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. If you have any questions for us, producers / moderators, panelists, what may have you, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. And did your childhood shape you into who you are today? Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments. Whether you are joining this live or on the replay, thank you so much for being here. We do greatly appreciate all the support you've given us over the course of this event that is being held September 8th through the 10th of 2023, respectively. Well, we've already kind of jumped in on this, but if you want to expand and take it in a bit of a different direction, that's fine too. I'm not gonna say no. And what is something you don't mind sharing with other people, other than the fact that you have fandom in your blood? Other than that, what is something you don't mind sharing with other people? And this could be anything. And you don't have to think. It could be anything at all. But let's try to keep it PG here on the show. But it could be anything. Sharing books, sharing movies, sharing posters, sharing artwork, sharing tattoo designs. I don't know.
I don't mind showing people the stuff that I've written, and I'm usually pretty open about that kind of stuff. And like I said, I've written everything that's been from kid friendly to kind of a hard, I'd say hard R. It's kind of a challenge. It's a challenge sometimes trying to write something that's for all audiences and something that's might be considered more hardcore horror, but it's also just kind of a matter of deciding what's important for the story. It's like, does the story need extreme sexual content or extreme violent content to be effective, or can it be done just it can be at a G level? But I figure if I wrote it, I gotta own it. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It's something I don't mind sharing. Man, I would say, some of my networking connections, because I feel that a win is a win. And if someone shares your stuff, I share their stuff. And if they share my stuff, if you share certain networking connections with each other and you build each other up, I think that's a good thing to share with other people. So that's my 2 cents on that. People have never heard of a certain artist, and I'm a big fan of like, oh, well, you should check out this artist because this artist does amazing work, right?
Yeah.
That's something that I would share with other people. So there you go. But what is something you would share with other people? Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. We'd be more than happy to hear from you. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Dan, what is one thing you wish you'd spent more time doing when you were much younger?
Ooh. Getting into trouble. I wish I'd spent more time getting into trouble. To clarify, I lost my dad early. I lost my dad when I was 13. And I've got 2 siblings that have passed on. The other 2 never talked to me, so I don't care if they hear this or not. They were not the most responsible people, and they put my mom through hell. And at a young age, I kind of figured I needed to start being a little bit more adult and a little bit more responsible. So in a lot of ways, I got old before my time, actually. I kind of wish I'd gotten into more trouble as a kid.
I don't hear too many people saying that one.
The worst thing I did was go down to our local comic book shop, which was in the bad part of town, without telling my mom after school. That was the worst thing I did as a kid. I was very dull as a child.
Okay. All right. What about you, Steph? What is one thing you'd wish you'd spend more time doing when you were younger, when you were a youngling, before you were a Jedi Knight?
I would say reading, because as much as I did read a lot when I was younger, I didn't read like the popular releases or keep up with the new releases or series that like kids my age were reading as much as I do now.
Okay. All right. What is one thing I wish I spent more time doing when I was probably more time reading, because most of the time I wouldn't read the books that we had to read in school because I didn't care. I just wanted to get it over with, like read the cliff notes, read the spark notes, take the quiz, take the test, and move on to something else because I just didn't care about the books at that time. But now that it becomes such a big bookworm, for those of you wondering, who is this Ryan dude? Well, I'll tell you who I am. I'm a bigger bookworm now than I ever was when I was younger. So I wish I would have spent more time. Take a look in a book. I'm just saying. That was a good series too, and that's something I wish I would have spent more time of when I was younger, because I feel like books definitely would have helped a couple things, and they also would have been a nice escape from all the bullying I suffered when I was in school. So there you go. I mean, TV helped with that. Watching TV helped with that, but reading books would have helped too. Ooh, wow. Let's see here. Trying to think of another really good throwing it out there kind of question.
I got one.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Okay, you mentioned being on a deserted island, 3 books.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. You're on a deserted island.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get rescued. What 3 television series, complete, would you take with you?
Well, wow. There's some great ones. I'll go with Smallville, Parenthood, and The Wonder Years.
Okay.
Those are my 3. What do you think, Steph? I wish I had a soundboard to play her thinking music.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, I'm good. Okay. So I would go with Smash, the original Charmed, and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Good choice on the last one. Miss Maisel is a fantastic show.
What about you, Dan? Did you pick your 3?
I'd probably go with Classic Trek, The Fugitive, and Bonanza.
How? All right, you know your history. That's very good.
Those were classic, huh? Well, bear in mind, Bonanza had like 13 seasons, so there's a lot of episodes.
Jeez. Doug said Supernatural says it has 15 seasons worth of content. Yeah, I hear you on that, Doug. I think it should have only lasted 5, but that's neither here nor there. Because the creator had a plan, and they should have stuck to the plan. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. Let's see, Steph. Have you ever had something known as a roommate? And if so, what did you absolutely hate about them?
I have my sister and I were about 18 months apart, and we used to share a room when we were younger, and I would say how messy she was versus like how clean I was, because she could never find anything because her things were always messy, and I could always find what I needed and what my parents were asking for, because my side was always so clean.
Okay. All right. I got you. Fair enough. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, probably going to the sibling thing. I disliked how nosy my siblings were. They were constantly poking nose into business, and I don't know. I had one sister that had to know everybody's business, and you could always tell when she'd been in my. I could always tell when she'd been in my room, like poking around looking for stuff.
Okay. I never. I mean, if you count living with, my 2 brothers growing up, that would count as roommates. But we never shared a room. I had my own room all the time. Did I have my own room all the time, or did I have to share a room with my brothers? No, I had my own room all the time because I was the youngest. I had special privileges. It's the beauty of being the youngest in your family. You get away with everything, and you get special privilege for certain things. Goodness gracious. Well,
Okay,
here's one. I'm sorry.
I got a question.
Oh yeah.
Is your nerd cap on?
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
We all know there are one-season wonders, shows that only lasted for one season.
Mm-hmm.
Either they were canceled because of low ratings or whatever reason. If you could have a second season on one of these one-season wonders, which one would it be?
Ooh.
Any show. It could be a drama, comedy, science fiction, animated.
No, it's a good question. Because some of these shows that I enjoyed lasted 2 seasons rather than 1, but I got to pick. What was the series that? Oh, gosh, what was it? I'm thinking of it now. It was 1 season. I wanted to see more. I was curious. Oh, okay. This is going back a little bit, not too far back, but it is in the 2000s, maybe early 2010s. Yeah, Steven, I figured Steven. Yeah, I think a lot of people would say that. A lot of people would say that, of course. Of course they would. Why wouldn't they? Fair point. I'm gonna go. I got the set. I haven't rewatched it yet. I'm gonna sit down and rewatch it here pretty soon. But Moonlight. Yeah, Moonlight was a short-lived television series that starred Alex O'Loughlin before he was cast as McGarrett on the Hawaii Five-O rebooted series, and it's about a vampire who's a private eye in La La Land, L.A., and Sophia Myles plays a reporter / love interest. Had a good cast, good premise, a little bit different than a lot of the other vampire stuff we were inundated with back then. So I would have liked to have seen where that would have gone. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a couple others. Journeyman with Kevin McKidd would have been a good one to keep going because I like time travel. So that one or two, Moonlight and Journeyman, I'm going to go with those two.
I will just say that Christian just chimed in on Messenger that this is a very Lex thing to do of John Shea.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
no offense to him. I know.
Yeah, no. Just to give everyone a programming note, John Shea was originally scheduled to be with us, but he is tied up for the moment. But hopefully he'll be here soon. And if he doesn't end up being here, we hope to have him back, or hope to have him come back for another event that we may or may not be planning in the future. With that being said, Stephen Fisher agrees with me. Journeyman was great. Yes, it was. I think it was. Am I saying his name right, Stephen? Kevin McKidd or Kevin McKidd? He was the lead actor, and then one of his love interests was Moon Bloodgood. Talk about one of the more unique names in Tinseltown, USA. Moon Bloodgood. Talk about one of the most beautiful women on the planet. But hey, if you need proof, just watch her performances in Journeyman and what was the other series she was on? Falling Skies. There's that. Granted, that lasted a lot more than one season, but I'm just saying that her filmography extends towards that. So there you go. Any other names we want to throw out there for one season wonders that we wish would have kept going? Steph, do you have a name over there?
I knew that I was thinking of a show that I had watched that only lasted one season, and I found an article that told me the name Bunheads.
Okay, I'm man enough to admit this. I know what that is. I know what it is. And one of our esteemed colleagues is here, and we want to say hi to them at this very time. Julia.
Hello.
Hello, Julia. How are you?
I loved Bunheads. I'm a dancer, and I loved Bunheads.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're familiar with the series. What are your thoughts on this? Do you have another series that only lasted for 1 minute that you wish would have lasted longer, Julia, that stands out to you, aside from the Bunheads?
That's such a good question.
Ooh, Stephen Fisher brings up one. Flash Forward. That was a time travel one with who's his brother? Joseph Fiennes and Sonia Walger from Lost. There you go.
I know. I guess I can't think of one that got canceled real quick right now. But I will say, in general, just the shows I love, I'm always so sad when they end. Like, if they go for 5 seasons, I wanted them to go for 8 or whatever,
Gotcha. And Stephen Fisher is being very chatty Cathy in the chat. He says, the V revival with Elizabeth Mitchell, with Laura Vandervoort and Lorena Baccarin. Yeah, Marina, by the way, not Lorena. But yes, the V reboot, that was something, should have lasted longer. But then again, kind of hard to continue a show when you kill off like more than half your cast at the end of season, at that one season. So I don't know. The Doctor Who guide says, anyone see Invasion, the TV series Invasion? Anyone familiar with that?
I don't think so. That's my brother. Hi, Alex. You're the Doctor Who guide. I'm giving you away.
Oh, okay. Hey, sibling. Steven says Firefly failed. Marina, yes, it is Marina Baccarin. Steven, get your names right. Gosh, Journeyman was another good one. There was another. I'm trying to think of. There's so many one season wonders. I'm trying to think of the other ones that I really enjoyed that were only one season.
I got 2 in a pilot.
So you're cheating.
Yeah, a little bit. But hey, it's my question. I can do.
No, go ahead.
my first one would be, and I highly recommend this to anyone who's a superhero fan, the John Wesley ship Flash.
Going back. Okay.
I thought that was like one of the best superhero shows that had ever been done. All the episodes were fantastic. You had some great writers, great guest stars. I mean, Mark Hamill as the Trickster's fantastic. It's a perfect season. The closest thing to a stinker as Bryan Cranston in it. That's the closest thing to a lame episode. But the rest are all good. The second one would be The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr., which is another show I recommend. If you love Bruce Campbell, if you love Wild Wild West, it's a good one to look into. It's set in the West, but it's a science fiction story.
Oh, I didn't know it was sci-fi. I just thought it was pure Wild West, but I guess I'll have to go back and look at that. The Doctor Who guide says the original Battlestar Galactica. Does that count?
It does, because there was only one season. Well,
the 70s?
It was the movie, and then it was a season, but then they did Galactica 1980, but I consider Galactica 80 different than Battlestar Galactica. So I count that as a one-season wonder.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I thought that was like 2 or 3. Never mind. 2 or 3 seasons. Maybe I was wrong. Gosh, there's so many one-season wonders. I'm glad I remember Journeyman, because Journeyman was so good. Had a unique premise too. Gosh, anyone else in the chat? Let us know in the comments. And by the way, I haven't handed a note here, and we're actually still at $940 in donations here from One Simple Wish. Thank you all for contributing. Don't forget to donate at the link located in the description below. It's also currently scrolling across the bottom of one of your screens. So make sure you like and share this Otherworldly Fundraising video with all of your closest friends, because you're going to like the way they look after watching or listening to Otherworldly Fundraising. We guarantee it. And boy, these questions are coming in red hot. I'm loving these questions. And also, I love the fact that we get some of our people who've been working tirelessly behind the scenes and helping us out during the course of this week. And I want to thank Steph and Dan and, of course, Julia. Sorry, I'm thinking of a song that starts with Julia. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of too many songs. But Julia, we're happy that she's here, because she's a ray of sunshine. She is. She's wonderful. We love having her here. I'm giving you credit here. That's what I'm doing.
Thank you. Y'all did most of the work. Y'all are great.
We're giving you a pat on the back here. The Doctor Who guide says Limitless was a cool show. The TV series based off the film. Does anyone remember that? No one remembers that. Am I the only one? Okay,
I've heard it, but I haven't seen it. But
I saw first half of the series, and then I stopped. So I guess I'll. He says that the synopsis for the series reads as follows: an average 28-year-old man who gains the ability to use the full extent of his brain's capabilities is hired by the FBI as a consultant. So there you go. That's the premise.
Was that a UPN show or a CW show?
No. This was on CBS.
Okay.
CBS. Yeah.
I thought UPN had something like that too.
It's funny. You know what? There's another one-season show. You brought this up. I'm glad you made me think of this. Jake 2.0.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
2.0. Jake 2.0 is a criminally underrated TV series that starred a very, very young, up-and-coming Christopher Gorham at the time. Because Christopher Gorham would go on to be in Medical Investigation with Neil McDonough. He would go on to be in The Other Side of Heaven, I think it's called, the Disney movie. So look that stuff up. Look it up. It's a great show, great cast. If I ever see Christopher Gorham at a convention, I actually have. This is a rarity. I want to just express this right now. When UPN was still a thing, I don't know if I signed up for this or maybe someone did it for me. I don't know. But I got a disc in the mail one day, and it was from UPN, and it was like 2 episodes. It's the pilot episode and then an episode that takes place later within the season, respectively, of Jake 2.0. And I'm thinking, I don't know how this happened, but I'm glad I got this, because they never released it as a set, the series itself. They never did. So I got I got a DVD with 2 episodes of Jake 2.0. So if you've never seen it, check it out. It's good stuff. And the Doctor Who guide says Limitless. It's got Psych vibes.
Psych is a good show. It's not a one-season wonder, but it's good.
No.
Definitely not one season.
Definitely not one. It lasted for like 7,000.
I do have probably the best, all-time greatest one-season show ever.
Which is what exactly, aside from the other ones you just listed?
Freaks and Geeks.
I've never seen it.
I've only heard of it.
I've only heard. Yeah, Julia and I are in the same boat for once. We've only heard of these things, but we've never actually seen them. Julia, you are without doubt the worst panelist I ever heard of, but you have heard of me. So I'm just kidding, Julia. I'm just kidding. We're all having fun.
I do recommend it. It
Kristen says The Class was a great one-season show.
that?
Have you heard of that?
What is that? I don't know what that is. Can you define that for us? What exactly is the premise? Can you put that in the chat or the public chat? It doesn't matter where you put it. Let me know what The Class was, because I don't know what that is.
Was that the one about the kids that meet 20 years after they went to grade school together? If it's what I'm thinking of, it's got the guy who played the Punisher and Shane in Walking Dead. One of the guys who played in Modern Family. And John Murder's son is
Jason,
the lead. He's supposed to be proposing to his girlfriend he's been with since elementary school. And he wants to get all his former classmates together for his when he announces he wants to marry her, and she basically rejects him then and there. And it's all these kids that they've not been in each other's lives for like 20 years, but now they're reconnecting. If it's what I'm thinking it was a brilliant show. And yeah, it was criminally underrated and should have lasted longer.
She says it's a group of people who went on what is known. They went into third grade together who reconnect later on as adults. Okay.
That's the one.
Got it. Okay. And Jason was in that?
Yeah.
That's cool because I think he's a great actor. And boy, does he have talent.
Oh, and the actress who played Supergirl's adopted sister was the female lead.
Oh, I love her, yes.
What's her name, though? What's her name again?
Oh, that's a good question. She was on Grey's Anatomy, too.
What was the name, though? I don't remember the name. That's killing me that I don't know this. Tina Greer. Thank you. No. Tina Greer was a character, wasn't it?
I don't know how to say her name. Skylar Lee? I'm probably pronouncing that wrong.
Skylar Lee? Skylar Lee?
It's Chyler, so anybody's guess.
Skylar Lee? I don't... Skylar, something like that. I don't know. Oh, by the way, your brother, Julia's got some smarts on him. You know why? Because it says The Tomorrow People is so good. Yes, the one with Robbie Amell. Dude, that show should have lasted a heck of a lot more than just 13 episodes because that had a great young up-and-coming cast, including not just Robbie Amell, but my girl from MD, Maryland, Peyton List. And you also had Alexa Vega.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, baby. Mm-hmm. Alexa Vega from Spy Kids, all grown up. Yeah, that was a good cast. I think one of our panelists is laughing in the backstage area. That's nice. Hey, listen, we try to bring smiles to people's faces on this program, and we hope you are enjoying this, whether you're sitting backstage in the comfort of the green room or you're joining us in the audience, because this has been too much fun. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is we're coming dangerously close to the top of the hour. So I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to Tomorrow People was so good. Yes, I agree with you. Thank you. You know, your brother, we're simpatico here. We even shop in the same store. Hey, hermano. Anyway, that's a line from another film that shall not be named. So I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank you who may be watching or listening to this. We're going to turn things over to our next moderator and guest, but I do want to say my name is Ryan. You can follow me at RyanRPM5 at Neuroculture Channel. Feel free to check out some of the stuff we're doing outside of this wonderful event that we're presenting to you in high definition or something like that. I don't know. Steph, thank you for being here. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I am a book blogger and run a book blog on WordPress.
All right. Well, we thank you for being here. Feel free to stick around in the backstage area, if you will. Dan, anything you want to plug real quick before we turn things over to the next team?
I write comic books. I write magazine articles. If there's a paycheck involved, I will write it. So Google me on Facebook and buy my stuff. Thank you.
That sounds about right. Dan, thank you for being here. This has been great. And Julia, guess what? It's that magical time known as 5 o'clock. So it's on you now. No pressure.
Thank you.
But we know you can handle it. So I'm going to turn things over to our next moderator and guest. Thank you all for being here. Don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. If you wish to make a donation, you can do so by clicking the link in the description below, or the link is currently scrolling across the bottom of your screen. Without any further ado, please welcome Julia. Julia, stage is yours. Take it away.
Thank you, Ryan. I'm going to bring our guest on in just a second. I do want to talk about some housekeeping first. I am looking at our little producer chat and seeing that we're at $940. That is amazing. Let's keep giving. You can go to the link that's scrolling on the screen, or if you visit our website, which is otherworldlyfundraising.godaddysite.com, there's a big link there too. And you can see our total and you can see it going up. So please donate if you're able. We are here this whole weekend for One Simple Wish, which is a wonderful charity that supports foster kids and just kids in really difficult situations. You can, again, read more about that on our site. So if you're able to donate, every dollar counts. We also have some amazing sweepstakes. Kristen and our awesome team have put together great prizes. So every $10 you donate gets you an entry into the sweepstakes. So that's awesome. Hi, Julie. Hi, I see friends coming in the chat. Yay. I'm going to bring our guest on in just a second. But so please, if you're able to donate, go ahead and go to that site that's scrolling, or we'll paste it into the chat for you. I also want to remind people that we're not quite done today's events. We've got our 5 o'clock show now, and we have more content at 6 p.m. So stick around. I want to introduce, I'm going to bring our guest on in just a second, but I want to introduce our wonderful guest, Natalie Toro. She is a super talented Broadway performer. You probably recognize her from originating roles like Madame Defarge in A Tale of Two Cities, or from A Christmas Carol. She played Eponine in Les Mis, which we all love. Mary Magdalene in Jesus Christ Superstar, Camilla in the Heights, and so many more amazing roles. And I'm so grateful she's here today. So let me put her on the screen. There we go. Hi, Natalie.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome.
It's so good to see you. Thank you for being here today.
Oh my gosh, of course.
So we have lots of folks watching, so we're going to highlight some of their questions if they want to ask us things, and I've got some questions too.
Okay, awesome.
I wanted to start out with kind of a silly question, a fun question. When I told my friends and when I was posting in different Facebook groups about this, everyone was immediately saying, oh, I saw her in this tour, or, I got to see this. And I said, okay, we know that you are a wonderful singer and a wonderful performer, but do you have a special skill that you feel like people don't know about that you want to share with the audience?
Oh, wow. That's cool. Actually, the pandemic we're all home and we're all in this really weird void of like, where is our life going? What's happening? And of course, when everybody went back to work, us actors were still considered non-essential. So there were it was a lot of stuff that I kept thinking about. Like, I'm like, okay, I've been doing this a really long time. I actually moved away from the city, which I never thought I would. Never thought I would. I was born and raised in the Bronx, and I was always, I'm never leaving the city, never. And well, I have left. And so I live in the country. I have a cute little house on 1.2 acres. I mean, it's country. It is like in the woods, animals and things like that. So during the pandemic, I was in my new house, in my new home, and so many thoughts have been going through my head. And I was thinking, hey, Nat, what about coaching? How, like test the waters doing that, and I was teaching, kind of like a voice situation way back in the day. And the problem with having students when you're working a lot is that you're like, oh, I gotta go. I gotta go to the next thing, or I'm sorry, I gotta go on tour. This was way before Zoom, way before all of this that we're doing right now. So I thought, I started coaching online, and I kind of put myself out there, scared as hell, lots of things. And I realized, Natalie, you're a really good teacher. You're a really good teacher. And I don't really like to call myself a teacher. It's just more of a coach. And it's more like, why not serve those people that kind of want to know my secrets? And I have lots of, credibility. I have lots of experience. Why not get it out there to the youngins that are aspiring? And I've had so many people say, I want to sing like you. How do you sing like that? I want to do this. I want to do that. So So I have this new Natalie Toro method that I'm putting out there, and it's taken a while. I'm scared as hell, like I said, terrified at and excited at the same time. But I'm launching my new course this Friday, the 15th, online.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's called Break a Leg.
I love that.
Break-
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I'm still learning the online thing and the marketing and how do you get the audience to, so
Mhm.
yeah, so that scares me too. A lot of things scare me. I'm not like a selfie, let's Instagram, let's do all that. I'm from a different generation, but it's very exciting because I've been working really hard on it, and it's all about acting through song and with that little flavor of Natalie Toro. So that's what I've
amazing.
discovered.
Yes, that's amazing because not everybody enjoys coaching or teaching or wants to. So that's such a great skill to discover, and I'm sure there's so much you have to bring to your students too.
Well, what's great is that I'm not a normal teacher. Like I could never work at a university, I don't think, because I'll probably be fired within the first week. I'm a very hands-on, touchy-feely. I'm just that. And there's so many rules. I Googled. I don't think I'd be really good at that. But privately, and then I thought Zoom. There's like hardly a connection. You're like this computer, and I can't touch them, and I can't hug them and tell them everything's okay. But it's what's amazing to me is the way I feel when they get to a certain level and they're soaring and they're getting it and they're surprised at themselves, and it's all about finding your own truth. And that to me, I think, is missing out of a lot of courses and training and things like that. It's like, yeah, there's acting, there's all, but really, like, who are you? Who are you in all these different scenarios? So
I love that. That's amazing. That's a fabulous answer.
So look out for Break a Leg. Here it comes. Yikes.
That's so exciting. That's amazing. On a similar on the topic of singing, I put down a question here. My family, we were talking about earworms the other day, like songs that get stuck in your head. And I was thinking of, you've gotten to sing so many amazing songs. Is there one that you go back to and every time you go back to it, you're like, oh no, this is going to be stuck in my head for days? Is there one that's that earworm for you?
The earworm situation. That's very funny because there'll be songs that I don't even know I'm singing, and all of a sudden I'm like, why am I thinking of that song? As far as the roles that I've played, I think the one that really gets stuck in my head is On My Own, especially if I do it in concert. I go back to that time and place, and I'm really reliving all of that, except I'm like, 500 years older. So, but I go right back to that place. And so when I'm done when I'm done with the concert, I'll still feel that melody in my head. On my own, I'll just still, it's almost like I embodied that role. I did that role for 3.5 years. So
yes,
it's a long time.
That was one of my questions. That is an amazing amount of time. How did you, I know it's different. Some people really love doing the same thing 8 shows a week. Some people like more variation. Did you have any kind of tricks or rituals or something that helped you keep it fresh when you are doing something for, that amount of time?
Well, interestingly enough, I was very young when I got the role. And I think what kept me going was my growth. Like, I was just growing as a young lady. And I know you have to have the stamina and the technique and the tools and all that stuff. But I think I was bringing my life experiences on that stage. And so that's kind of what I teach in my course. It's just like, I kept it so fresh because I would literally, if I had a day, it could be anything, I would bring that feeling to the stage. And also the fact that I learned that because it was my first Broadway show. I mean, I learned that audience, it's the first time they're seeing it. Or maybe that's 27th time they've seen it. But they want to feel like it's the first. So as far as getting stagnant, or that never really happened for me. I really kept it fresh, and that's how I lasted that long. Otherwise, oh God, you know. But I think growing too, and growing with her, you know, I was young, and I was growing in my own life, and coming and getting to sing that song every night. And I think the worst part for me was, you know, the turntable and the smoke and the fog and all that kind of stuff. But I have some funny stories with Les Mis, you know, because there was a whole drama happening backstage, you know. But yeah, I think that's how I kept it fresh. I was growing with her.
That's amazing. I'm going to pause for just a technical question. Can you do me a favor? And it should be on the bottom middle of your screen. Can you just click on that settings button for me?
Bottom.
It's like a gear.
Yes, there it is. Yeah.
And then click on audio. And if you scroll down, there's something that says mic volume. Are you able to turn that, pull that up a little bit?
It's all the way up. Oh, wait.
Okay. That's okay.
Is that better?
I think so. It's we got a couple comments that you're a little quiet, but I adjusted it, so I think you should be good now.
All right, testing, 1, 2, testing.
Thank you. Gotta love technology.
I know.
I've got a cute question from the chat here. Do you have a favorite role that you've played?
Oh, awesome. You know, I get that question a lot, and what's interesting is, of course, not all my roles were favorites, just because I really didn't like the show, whatever. And sometimes you're in it and you just have to do it, you know. But again, I started so young that I was growing with each role. You know, I was like, so I did Eponine and Grisabella in Cats, which, you know, she was an old girl. She was an old furball, you know, and I was a young girl experiencing being like an old girl, you know, an old senior girl, you know. But I'm going to say again, my favorite one was Eponine. You know, it's just, I think it's just because you never forget your first type of thing. And she wearing her heart on her sleeve, and, you know, I'm a huge empath. I'm a huge romantic. I mean, she was going to make him fall in love with her no matter what, you know? It's like, she only needed to take a bath, you know? But no, I think that's my favorite role. The hardest role, in case anybody was going to ask, the hardest role was Eva Perón in Evita.
I can imagine. Wow.
Yes, you have to be really fit for that. Not only physically, emotionally, mentally, because you bring that girl home, you're done.
Wow, yeah.
And, you know, and I was the first Latina to play her. And I brought another, like, oomph into it. You know, I brought, like, the passion and the amazing amount of emotion that comes with being a Latina, you know? It's just like, there is nothing like it, you know? You ever hear that saying, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned? Well, let me just add a Latin woman in there, and you just know what I'm talking about. You know, it's just that, it's just in your face. It's loud, in your face. It's everything. It's just, it's like everything is, what is the word? Everything is right there. Like, it doesn't matter. What do you mean? What do you mean? You know, so.
That's amazing. Thank you for that question from the
How's
chat.
my microphone? Is it better?
It sounds good to me. Somebody tell us in the chat if it's better, please.
Better,
Thank you.
because come on.
So I was looking at your bio and your website, which is awesome. And you've gotten to do a lot of tours, which I think is so cool.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the fact, I stayed with a friend a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, it's so annoying to not have my bed and my bathroom and my stuff. How do you deal with, not only do you have these amazing roles and the show that you have to put on when you're touring, but did you enjoy going from, a new theater every 2 weeks, or was that kind of something stressful that you needed to acclimate to?
I think being on tour definitely is something to get used to. Touring nowadays is very different than touring back in the day. Back in the day, very different because you have this baggage limit now. You have to try to figure out. But back when I was touring, the baggage limit was like 75 pounds. 50, that's an extra 25 pounds. I mean, you were killing your back, but that's enormous because you have to bring everything with you. I think that was the hardest part, was trying to figure out what your needs are, what you needed to bring, and then the enormous amount of stuff that you bought. And then you got to send all that stuff home, because you're just in different cities. I want to go to the mall. I want to do this, but I think the hardest part was the travel and then doing a show.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to like really send out huge applause and kudos to the crew of all these national tours, because the actors are always complaining, I'm so tired. But we get a day off. Even though we're traveling, we still have a night off. The crew does not have not even a moment. They got to go from load out to plane, bus, back to the theater, load in. It's crazy, so but what I will say about touring that I love is that the cast and the crew, we're only there for that show. So kind of there's not a lot of distraction, where you're like, when you do a Broadway show in New York, you have your life. You run to voice lessons, dance lessons, this and that, and by the time 8 o'clock runs around, you're exhausted just from being in New York City, and on tour, you can stay in your hotel room sleeping all day if you want to.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely something to get used to, but once you do, it's awesome.
That's amazing. We did get feedback. The mic is better, so that is awesome.
Yay!
Too.
Yay!
And I have a fun question here from Kristen. So you've done a Broadway album and a Christmas album. Would you ever consider doing a Disney album or a standards album?
Oh, yes, Kristen. Yes. In fact, I was talking about that the other day. I wanted to incorporate some Disney stuff into a show that I started to write, and definitely standards. I think people love the way my voice sounds with standards, and I guess I don't do them enough to then you sound like Judy Garland. I'm like, I don't sound like Judy Garland, but I guess I guess whatever style, or my breath, or the the timbre, I don't know what it is, but yes, I definitely want to do that. And how funny, I just spoke about CDs, and like CDs are gonna be null and void really soon.
That's okay. You can stream it. We all want to hear you on streaming.
But it's all streaming. It's all like, I just opened up my box of CDs. I was like, wow, what am I going to do with these?
Oh, so Jacqueline says yay for Disney songbook, and then Kristen also says she still buys CDs. So
that's funny. Yeah, but you know what? I know, and it's great. I still have a huge CD collection, and people don't realize, like, when everything goes down, it's like you better save your DVDs and your old VHSs and your CDs, because that's the only thing you're going to be able to listen to or watch.
Right. We've got I think this is kind of similar vein here. Where did that question go? Oh, I see. It's if you could turn a movie or a book into a Broadway show, what movie or book would you pick?
Wow. Ooh, I would have to think about that. Movie or book?
So many options.
I know. I haven't had a lot of time to read lately, so I'm just like, a movie or book? Wow, I would have to think about that.
Yeah, we can come back
We'd
to
be
that.
here for the whole hour because my brain is. I'm like,
That's okay. So another question I had on kind of the theater topic, my background is primarily in dance, so I'm very used to remembering choreography. I know for actors and singers, you've got to remember your lyrics, your lines. Have you ever had one of those moments on stage where you have just blanked and lost your lines, lost your blocking, anything like that?
You have not met Natalie Toro. Yes. Oh my God, yes, all the time. And here's one of the things that I try to coach my students on. Like, you got to stay in that moment, because if you start thinking, oh, you know what, I'm really hungry, I think I'm going to have pizza for lunch. You start thinking, the moment your brain goes somewhere else, those words are out, and you don't even realize the words are out. Or the other thing that happens to me is I'll start all of a sudden second guessing that I don't know the words. Like, oh, wait, what is that lyric? What is it? While I'm singing, all of a sudden my brain is like, and then it'll come sometimes, and then sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't come, I have a really good knack of just saying something. But and if people know the song, they're like, huh? I'll never forget, I had to do in concert Don't Rain on My Parade. I've never sang it before. This was years ago, and I've heard it, but I've never learned it or anything like that. Now that's a don't tell me not. I mean, there's a lot of words, and I had to learn it in 2.5 days.
Oh my God.
And no, right? And I was petrified. So this is a funny story. So I'm so petrified because I know that everyone in the audience, everyone in this particular audience definitely knew every lyric.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I'm screwed. I'm done. They're going to throw tomatoes. I'm done. Right. So they're like, Natalie Toro, right? So the band starts, dun, 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 right? I come out, and I'm thinking, that's way too fast, Poppy. So,
oh no.
So I go over to the conductor. They're playing. They're just doing an intro. And I go out to the pianist, and I'm like, just a little slower. Right? Now, I have no microphone. I'm just a little slower in his ear. He's like, he slows it down, dun, dun, and I'm thinking, yeah, a little slower. Okay. I was so nervous. I just didn't want to go to the microphone.
Oh my gosh.
I finally did it, and I did fluff up some of the words, but primarily I got through. And in fact, it's on YouTube, which is really scary.
Oh no, I know.
I
go
cannot
look it up
even bring myself to watch it. I messed up the words.
I love that about live performances. I love hearing when there's little mess ups or little differences, because that's what makes it, real and live and not, endlessly auto-tuned.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I mean, and I think that part of being an actor and a performer and an entertainer is really just knowing, like, in the moment, you gotta do something. You can't just stand there frozen. Because, 2 seconds, 3 seconds in the theater is like an eternity.
Absolutely.
Missed entrances are my favorite. I've done that a couple times.
That gets complicated, especially in Les Mis. Has that happened where you or someone has missed their entrance?
Not so much in Les Mis, because of course the music just keeps going. But I do have a funny story where the turntable during On My Own, the turntable did not stop so that the crew could take the furniture off from the previous scene. So
that's not good.
I'm singing On My Own, and here comes the bench. So because I realized I know when the turntable is supposed to stop, and it didn't. So I'm like, ooh, Okay, so I became like an Olympic hurdler
Oh my God.
with a coat, just trying to get away from the bench, and then there's a chair, and there's other things, and they're trying to take it off, and they just can't, So
Yeah. I'm sure there was a lot of chatter and panic backstage as they watched you.
No, it's fun. It's fun. And missed entrances are funny because you miss an entrance, then you have all your actor friends out there, or your scene partners, just improving away.
Mhm. I see this response here for a potential movie musical. I think Barbie the musical would be fun. I think that's a good suggestion.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. In fact, I just saw that at a drive-in movie.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay,
Did you like it?
Yeah, well, I wanted to go. Yeah, well, yes.
Oh, you know what I realized? I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it. I'm sorry, we're not supposed to talk about struck companies, so I don't know if they count. But
Sorry.
well, no, my bad. We can talk about the musicals we want to make up because they don't exist.
All right, not movies. No movies.
That's okay. I have plenty of theater questions, but I've got another fun audience question for the theater, which is, do you have a crazy or a ridiculous audition story?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, and the one that I always tell is, again, Les Mis. Well, first of all, I was known by casting directors as the tripper. So I don't know what would happen. I would be so nervous that I would always trip going into the room. Like, I didn't lift my leg up to step over, whatever it is, I just fall into the room. Okay, that being said, my Les Mis audition was in June, so it was hot, and I wore just really fluffy, big clothes, like big pants and a big shirt, and I'll never forget that I started singing, and my voice just decided to have that little tickle, that tickle.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And, it's a nightmare for a singer because you're trying to ignore that tickle, and the more you ignore it, the more it itches, and the more you're going to cough. So I literally coughed up a few lungs, and of course I have 3 lungs. No, and now this was a long time ago, and in the behind the table were all the creatives, like there were 20 people there, and there was a huge bottle of Evian water, and I just looked at it, and as I'm coughing and I'm coughing and I'm coughing and I can't stop coughing, and I don't know if you've coughed so much where you start to lose your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
so
that's not good.
I'm thinking, oh, I just blew it. So I walked over to the table and I said, "Can I take a sip?" And I didn't care whose it was. I didn't care what kind of germs there were on there. I chugged a good amount of that water. And then they were all like,
No.
just deadpan. And I'm so nervous, and I thought they're just going to say, "Well, thank you," right?
Right.
And they asked me to continue singing from where I left off. I was like,
Okay.
great. I said, I'm the little horse from, They're like, yeah. Okay, so I did it.
Oh,
I
dear.
did it. And then they had me go to the piano and do all these Eponine things, and then the associate director at that time says to me, because I'm wearing these big balloony clothes, right?
Mm-hmm.
"What do you look like under all those clothes?" Now, mind you,
No.
if they can't say that nowadays, right?
Mm.
No way. But you're in the middle, and you're so nervous. You'll do whatever it takes, really, And he was like, "What do you look like under there?" And I literally lifted my entire shirt up, and I showed everything. And
His fault for asking.
that was it. And I lowered the shirt, and I left the room, and I booked it 2 days later.
Oh my god. That's a really amazing audition story to have in your back pocket. Wow.
Well, you know, you
Forget
can't do
you.
that. Yeah, they can't ask you so many things now, and they do. They do ask. you
Sure,
stuff that they're
yeah.
not supposed to. Like my favorite is so. You're Spanish, right? Yes. They're not supposed to ask me what kind of Spanish I am. Where was
Right.
I born? Where was my family born? They're not supposed to. Like Spanish is,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, we're all part of this culture, right? So
For sure, yeah.
very funny, very funny.
I want to say we have folks in the comments saying, I've got someone here saying hi Eileen, they're saying they love CDs and DVDs. Alex over here said vinyls are making a comeback. Jacqueline said that she buys everything hard copy. So I don't know, maybe you shouldn't give up on CDs yet.
Maybe I should keep those and still sell them. But you know, it's so hard. Like I said, I'm really, it's hard for me to get into this whole new age of technology and AI too. Ew.
Oh my gosh, talk about
know,
complicated.
I mean, but I'll tell you, my brother sent me something that he wrote, a letter, and he goes, "Look, Nat, I asked AI to kind of rewrite it for me," and I was like, "Oh my God!" You know, AI got his essence. I was like, that is scary. So
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely. We are at the half-hour mark, so I'm going to remind our audience. I'm looking in our notes from the producer, and we are now at $1,021. So that is amazing.
Yay! Come on, keep it coming.
Yay. Amazing donations. Let's keep that going, and you can see it scrolling at the screen. You can visit us at otherworldlyfundraising.godaddysites.com, and you can learn about the charity. You can that's where you can find the big donate button. You can learn all this stuff there. So thank you for donating and watching, and hello to everybody in the comments. Let's keep going with some good questions from the chat. Let's see, who's the most famous person who's watched you perform a show?
Ooh, I love that. I've had Brooke Shields.
Wow.
Jason Alexander, Jerry Lewis. Oh God, of course their names are like escaping me. Oh my God, there were so many. I mean, so many. But my favorite is when they come backstage to say hi. Lily Tomlin came.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, you know, that's my favorite. Brooke Shields came. She asked to be escorted to my dressing room.
Wow, that is so special.
That was really amazing. And you know, I'm 5'2", and she's really up there. I was like, wow, you're really tall, you know. But she's really, really sweet. Really, really sweet. And Jason Alexander, I'll never forget this. I asked him for a photo. I was like, come on, it's a photo op. Let's go, you know. And so he was like, well, let me look at it, right? And he goes, yep, still bald. Just like he would in Seinfeld. Just like, you know.
That's adorable.
Oh, my gosh.
Do you like to know ahead of time if famous people are watching, or does that make you nervous? Do you not want to know?
I'm one of those people that I want to know everything, and even though it makes me nervous, that's okay. You know, I never understood people that are. I mean, I respect it, but I never understood people that are like, no, I don't want to even know if you're in the audience. Like, it's me, you know. But yeah, I want to know. I get excited.
That's amazing. I'm going back to my list of questions. I'm trying to switch between the audience and my own questions here. But what I realized, and I don't think it took me a second to put this together, but you've been in A Tale of Two Cities and A Christmas Carol. And I went, oh my God, wait a minute. Those are both Dickens novels, like very different vibes. So you're both originating roles. So in that creative process, were there similarities, or were the vibes just so different that you were like, these are too different?
Oh God, it was like two different writers. I mean, and two different centuries. It just so different. I mean, A Christmas Carol. First of all, that the original Christmas Carol was done at the Paramount Theater at Madison Square Garden, and we literally had a cast of 75.
Oh my God, I did not know that.
And the set was as big as a football field. Like, it was redonkulous.
Wow.
Yes, it was. And so Susan Stroman was choreographing, and so trying to get 75 cast members all organized and costumes and things like that, you know. And it was great to meet Alan Menken and Lynn Ahrens.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was just an awesome experience. But it was very bright. Now, Madison Square Garden, you got to do like 17, 18 shows a week.
Oh my God, yeah.
That was a crazy schedule. We had no life. No
Oh dear.
life.
And especially at the holidays, you don't get to have a life.
Know. I was like, you better do your Christmas shopping early because this is not going to happen, you know. Yeah, it was, we all slept at the theater in between, and it became a real family real fast. You know, usually theater families become families real fast, but this one was just, we were in each other's faces every day for 17 shows a week. Yeah. Sometimes 4 shows a day.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you're doing more than the Rockettes there. That's a lot.
I mean, and there were shorter shows. They were like 90 minutes, you know, but they're big shows, big costumes, big light. I mean, I don't know if you saw the original. It's beautiful. It was beautiful.
I didn't know. I've only seen clips.
Really, really gorgeous. And Walter Charles was our Scrooge, and he has since passed, I think just a couple weeks ago. But and then Tales of Cities, whew, that's like that's a different nut completely. You know?
I want to pull up some of these questions here. This is from Eileen. She says she saw you in Les Mis. It was her first time. And after 20 years later, in a tour of In the Heights.
Oh, wow.
You said Les Mis was your favorite role, but did you feel a personal connection to In the Heights? I'm going to remind our commenters, of course, we can talk about the tour. We cannot talk about the movie right now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, the tour and the show, of course.
Yeah.
The personal connection I had with that was I was channeling my mother. You know, I am, you know, we are in a Latin cast with Latin emotions and all that kind of stuff. And if you've ever been in that kind of environment, it's a lot, you know. So, but what I loved about In the Heights was that it really told the story of the culture and the family and the love and the respect, you know. And it was the first time that I think in the theater world that Latinos were depicted as real people and not like the drug addicts and you know, stuff like that, and the housekeepers like they do in, I won't say it, in you know, in other things and other genres and stuff. So God, that's really hard not to say it. But yes, so I was channeling my mother. She raised me with high hopes of becoming successful. She had dreams of being a ballerina.
Oh.
And yeah, and back then, like, her father didn't think that was a good thing to do, so he squashed her dreams. So when I said I wanted to, you know, I was a singer and I wanted to do this thing, like my very first performance was at the Apollo Theater when I was 5 years old, an amateur night. So, you know, I got the bug right at 5, and my mom was a huge support of that, and so was my dad. And but Camila in the Heights, you know, she's tough. She's the grounding force of the family, even though, you know, the role of Kevin is the father, he's making the money, but it's the mother that grounds everybody. You know, it's the mother that says, hey, I want to talk to you. You know, and like you can't get away with stuff. And I could not get away with anything with my mother. She saw if I tried to do anything, that's why I was such a good kid. I didn't want the wrath of Lucy.
I have a question from Kristen, who is one of our fearless leaders, and I think she's leading the witness a little bit. But do you want to talk about the time you recorded a music video for a Christmas song but it was apparently in LA during the summer.
Yes. Sometimes you have to just go and just make the snow. Okay. Yeah, it was just the timing of it all. You know, Chris, everything has to be done before the summer is over for a holiday release.
Mm-hmm.
So the Ryan Kelly, who is from Celtic Thunder, who Kristen knows very well, we were able to have him do this duet with me, and the song "Baby It's Cold Outside" is not your. I don't think it's one of my favorite songs. One of my favorite, and it really wasn't a Christmas song to begin with. But for some reason, they played at Christmas. You know, just because it's the word "cold" is in it, I guess. You know, and they talk about the snow and the this and that. But so I thought if I can get Ryan Kelly to sing this with me as a duet, we would make it with a Celtic flair, since he's from Ireland, and I've never met him before. So we had our first little video meet online years ago, and he is such a charming man, and his accent, you just melted like butter. Melted like butter. And he had piercing blue eyes and black hair, just gorgeous. And I was like, yeah, I want to do that with you. Yeah. And of course he's like, wow, Natalie Toro's asking me to do what? You know, so it was a mutual respect, a mutual pedestal raising, lifting situation. And so then we had my arranger do it Celtic, and it came out beautiful. And then we're like thinking, he flew to New York from Ireland. We flew him in and we recorded it. It was great. And I said, if I could raise the money for a video, would you come? Because we weren't thinking about videos at that time, but you know, it came out so great. And sure enough, he was like, yeah, I'll come back. And so at the end of summer in August in Los Angeles, it is hot there, right? And we rented a warehouse, and the set was built, and costumes and dancers, and if you it's on YouTube, and if you saw it, this was in an empty warehouse situation. Wow. And we just built it, and you know, we had a film crew, and we had snow machines. Yeah, there was no way we were going to find a bit of snow anywhere. So we did, and then at the last scene is me and Ryan on the couch, kind of like it was a dream type of thing, and we're on the couch, facing the fireplace, and these two windows on the side, and you can see the snow falling outside the windows. So we had crew people on the top of the roof of this house with the snow machines, just get it down, you know, because you don't know how big the snowflakes look, if they're small, if the camera's going to pick it up. So the camera did pick it up. So that was hysterical.
Everyone's going to have to look that up after this. Everyone's loving that. They love Celtic Thunder. We're all going to go look this up from Christmas in September.
And then everybody always asks, what is the last word he says? And it's because of his accent, people can't understand it. It's doubt. D-O-U-B-T. Doubt.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
And he says, don't. In his accent, his cute little accent. So, yeah.
That's amazing.
It was great.
I've got a fun question here. Who are some of your favorite singers outside of the musical theater realm?
Oh, yeah. I love Adele. Love her.
Yes.
Love her.
She's had a great couple of years with a comeback, you know?
Yes, I just love her voice is so soothing. It's rich. Her songs are just deep. And of course, I was raised with Barbra Streisand. And funny enough, when I listen to Barbra now, it was definitely a time in my life, you know? Because now I look at her like, how did you do that? How did you hold that note so long? How did you even get up there and then get down? Like vocally, she's a giant.
Wow.
You know, and I still listen to her. I mean, there's I listen to a lot of Gladys Knight and the Pips. Like, I'm from an era where that type of music, I was raised with a certain type of music, you know. And then, of course, musical theater. I was raised with Godspell
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, Hello Dolly. And, but most important, like on Pandora, if someone were to ask me, what do you listen to a lot in Pandora? Well,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm listening to Pandora, it's usually because I'm cleaning my house. And I just blast, you know, the Mention channel. Just because there's Gladys Knight and the Pips, and there's Stevie Wonder, and there's, because I just feel like music today is just not the same, and maybe I'm just old. I don't know, because you know, you heard your parents say that, like, oh, here we go. You know, everybody, every decade of music, it just changes, but there was nothing like that music. Just the melody, you know, I listened to country.
Mm-hmm.
I love Trisha Yearwood. Again, story and vocally, you know. Then I also listen to salsa music.
Mm-hmm.
That gets me going. I always say, like, my little red blood cells are dancing with my little white blood cells, and they're just little dancing partners, you know. Yeah, and then I'll listen to Pavarotti. So it's very eclectic. It just depends on my
I love
mood.
that.
And classical music, I listen to cello. That's my
Oh,
favorite.
okay.
That's my favorite instrument, even though I was a pianist.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, I used to be a concert pianist. Oh, don't even ask me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
wow.
That's amazing. On going back to, because we've got about 15 minutes left, so I'm gonna remind everyone, please donate. This is such a fabulous charity. If you can look up their website, One Simple Wish, and you know they explain it very beautifully.
Yeah.
But it's really sweet to read the stories. You know, these aren't big extravagant things we're trying to get for these kids in foster care or difficult situations. It's often like very simple things. Ryan, one of our previous hosts, said it really well, that they're not asking for big things, and it's things we usually take for granted.
Mm-hmm.
So please donate. We've already raised some great money this hour so far with you, Natalie. So thank you for being here with us.
Gosh, yes. You know, I want to say something about that. You know,
please.
I've done a lot of charity work, and we do take so much for granted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're there and you actually see it. I mean, it's not part of my everyday world, but when I get asked to do something like this, or if I get asked to sing at an event, and you're watching video and you're watching stories and people, you're like, wow, there's some really great people out there. Like, really, you don't even see that a lot. You know, on social media, all you see is junk and mean stuff and stuff that creates news and you know, but like, what does it take to be a big brother or a big sister? You know,
Absolutely.
That I've always wanted to do that, but again, I can't commit. It's hard to commit.
It's a lot, and I love when we have these opportunities in between, because most of us can't, you know, drop our job or our families or whatever to do this. So I love that we have these charities that help us with that middle step. I think Kristen or someone was telling me earlier, one of the things was a kid just wanted his own set of bed sheets, you know, clean new beds. That's so simple, you know, something
So
we take
simple.
for granted, right?
Right. Exactly.
And yeah, and we're so grateful that you're here today, and to our whole audience, thank you for donating. I would love to talk with you a little bit more about your coaching and some of your thoughts on teaching. I had a question here about, are there trends that you have right now, whether it's maybe vocal trends or music? Are there trends you're seeing in your coaching that you're like, yes, I love this I want to encourage? And then maybe is there something that you're like, you know what, no, I'm not a fan of that. I don't really prescribe to that with your particular method.
Good question. I take everything that everyone has to tell me seriously, and I take it as very important. Everyone has different views and different opinions, and they've been taught differently. And as you know, when you're a young adult, you teachers and coaches are very important, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to be careful what you say to them, because they can remember that for the rest of their lives, just like I remembered some of my stuff, some of the teachers that have said stuff to me, good and bad,
Sure.
you know, and so I always go about with like, look, this is new. This is a new way of thinking. I'm very spiritual too. I'm very like one mind-body connection. And because I think that that's missing. I think that a lot of coaches and acting studios and, you know, they really focus on the art of acting.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. But then what happens when you're not connected? How do you connect? And, you know, a lot of people are having a hard time connecting. So I go back to like experiences. I'm like, let's open up that Pandora's box.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to you when you were 5 years old? What happened to you? Oh, your father left your mother. How did that make you feel? Like all those experiences, that's what I try to have them keep in their Pandora's box, because they need to pull that out to create a feeling, to you know, to take on a role that may have to think about that, you know, or just the feeling of it, you know. And you know, sometimes, you know, I'll have a student that says, I'm not very good with that. And I just start laughing, you know. And I'm like, just take a deep breath, Nat, because you know what? They're gonna get it. It's just they're fighting. They're fighting what they have been taught.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of what I try to instill is that we all develop bad habits, and those bad habits are also memory habits and things like that. So we need to strip all of that and get down to the nitty-gritty of like, who's this little soul right in front of me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically,
That's wonderful.
that's how I attack that, because kids nowadays, woo, child, they're intense, you know. They have their own thing going. It's a whole different generation, and sometimes I feel so old when they're talking about things, but the bottom line is we're all experiencing the same thing. It's just different social standards and different, you know, social rules or whatever it is, you know, but we're still human. We're still this. And so that's what I try to get back to that. And
Absolutely.
I had a student, Ariana, who just went to college, like literally a couple weeks ago. And I was
Wow.
crying, you know, and the gratitude that came from her, she sent me this beautiful card. I couldn't believe it. I was just like crying.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't read the
Yeah.
words, because she was like, thank you. You are like my therapist, my life coach, my this, my that. It's not just what I'm doing, you know, I'm giving them everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving them value, like how to be a better person, how, you know, just try to be a good person first and foremost. You know, yeah, I'm not good with that, Nat. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, all right. So then, what are you good with? You know, so
Sure. Yes. That's beautiful though, and I always think that it's such an honor when we get to work with kids and work with different generations, because I think everybody has something to bring. So I love that you go back to their little soul. I think that's really important.
Yes, who's that soul?
So you mentioned, you know, college did start up recently for a lot of people. So thinking about whether it's college or shows, do you have audition advice for young performers or aspiring performers as we maybe think about future audition seasons?
Absolutely. The one thing that I would say is and I wish somebody told me this, is that just know that they want you to be the person that they're going to cast.
Okay.
They want you to be that person. So be you. Who is that? Be you. Walk in and be you. And it doesn't matter, and this is my favorite, it doesn't matter how you do at the audition. You could be amazing. You could just screw it up. You could do whatever. However it went, if like, I believe in the universe, I believe in this like blueprint of our life. It's like if you were meant to be in that show with those people at that point in life and in time, then guess what? You're going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So try to chill. Like,
Yes.
leave it at the door and just keep moving.
Absolutely. Or you're frozen? I think it'll come back in just a sec.
Oh, we froze.
There you go.
Oh,
I
hi.
see you now. Hello.
We froze for a minute.
There
I
we
don't know
go.
what you heard. I don't know.
We heard. I love the message of they want you to be the right person to chill. I think that's really important. And I do agree. I think it's so hard. And I say this, as a younger person too, not to, it's easy to say everything is riding on this, right? And that is not always the best mentality, right?
It is riding on it. I mean, you got to pay your bills too, and
exactly.
That's your dream role, yeah. But you know what?
Right.
You can't. It's like a universal thing.
Yeah, I agree. If it's meant to be, absolutely.
But the most important thing, I think, is it doesn't matter who is in front of you. Be nice to them and be kind. Because you never know.
Absolutely.
They're going to be the next big director and you're walking in and you had a big fight with them. Forget it. So just be kind to everyone. It's not worth it.
I love that. I totally agree. We have a few minutes here left, so I want to make sure, let's make sure that the audience knows where can they find you and where can we find this new course, because I am so excited.
Well, the course, I don't have the link yet because I'm trying to get everything together. However, I think it's going to be all over my social media, which is my Facebook is obviously Natalie Toro, and then I'll be on Instagram at the Natalie Toro. Funny story, I had to there was another Natalie Toro pretending to be me, and
oh no,
they had the name. I was like, can I have my name, please? Yeah. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. Everything worked out. It's great. She's a lovely girl, and actually my website, natalietoro.com, and the course is called Break a Leg. I also wanted to say that I am doing a new musical, a new presentation. Yes, at the National Archives Museum in DC.
Okay.
And it's called Tyrants. And
wow.
it is a story about the Booth brothers, like Edwin Booth and John Wilkes Booth. John Wilkes, who killed President Lincoln, and it's their story. And we're doing this big presentation in October, and so
wow.
And I get to play the mama. I'm playing their mother, the Booth brothers' mother.
Wow, that is
Check
going to
it
be
out.
a great role. Wow, I'm gonna we've got to tell everybody about this, and I have DC friends, so I will be telling my.
Oh yes, yes, it's free. It's like you just have to RSVP. It's Tyrants the musical. Let me see. I have it right here. I think I don't know. I guess it's Tyrants the musical.
I'm sure our audience will go looking. I know we've got a lot of musical theater fans here. So.
Oh yeah, Tyrants the musical, October 6th and the 7th.
That is so exciting.
I'm very excited.
Wow. So thank you so much for being here today. It was so wonderful to talk to you. Our audience is so excited that you're here. And thank you for supporting us for this charity. It means so much.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for asking. Break a leg out there, everybody. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you. Okay, thank you to our audience. I'm going to do just a little more housekeeping, which is we are a little over 1,000. So please keep donating if you're able. Every dollar counts. It is such a wonderful charity. One simple wish. You can go to our website or to the site scrolling on the screen to donate. And let's see. I'm just going to bring in one of our other producers. Let's see. Can I bring you on, Dan? I don't want to startle you. Our next guest and our next session will be starting soon. Thank you so much to Natalie for being here today. You're welcome to hang out backstage. You're welcome to leave if you need to as well. And lots of love from our audience too. I just want to highlight that. A big thank you from Jan and Kristen and the Doctor Who Guide. So thank you to our audience for being here. Are you there, Dan?
I am here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I was going to say, I was going to jump in until our moderator for our next panel came on board, but he is here with us now.
Amazing. I see
you know,
him.
So I'll tell you what, if you want to drop me and bring him on in, I'll let him do the line.
Absolutely. Okay, 1 second, folks. Thank you for your patience. I'm going to put our moderator on, and our wonderful guest is here too. So let's see. We will get you on the screen. Okay, thanks, guys. Take it away.
Cool. Hello.
Hi.
Sorry, it's ended up being a lot darker in here than I initially intended, so apologies.
It's great. Wow.
But yeah, this is my wife's like office type slash everything. So yeah.
Mood room. Like, what is that? Marble? Like,
Yeah, it's actually it's not vinyl. It's foam. It's like panels.
oh my God, that's so cool. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, that's that. Then over here we've got more foam.
Stop.
And then the ceiling is mirror.
Oh my God. That's amazing. Oh, I want
We
to
love
go to
lights.
your house.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we love lights and all that kind of stuff. So we've got like we have LED everything and solar stuff and yeah.
So cool.
Anyway, nobody wants to sit and hear me talk about that all day. But
okay.
well, you can message me on Instagram. I'll share all the links with everything. I'll be happy to do it. Anyway, I did some looking, and you and I are about the same age, and your husband and my wife are about the same age.
Wow.
And so yeah, but really really fascinating, really amazing career that you've had, and all the different things that you've been able to do.
Thanks.
So the first thing I wanted to talk about is kind of start from the beginning. So what was the first thing, and I know that acting wasn't the initial thing that you were looking at,
Correct.
but what was the first thing that you saw, whether it be a movie or a TV show or like either Broadway or something, that made you go, you know what, I want to do that, or that would be fun to do?
Right. What was it? Well, I started as a ballerina. I wanted to be a ballerina. And then I remember, what was it? Did I go see a movie? I actually saw Scrooged.
Oh,
Like, and
love that.
I feel something like I want, and I've always just been kind of like an emotional person,
Yep.
but I don't really have the words to express myself. And so it just kind of, I don't know if there was one thing specifically, but it just kind of like the universe just pulled me into this direction where I could be fully in touch with my feelings, but not feel the pressure of having to come up with a beautiful verbiage to speak. I could just read what some brilliant writer wrote and have my feelings come through that. So it was just this beautiful transition from like ballet, where I didn't speak, but I could be emotional on stage. And then I modeled, once again, not speaking. And then acting came in, and it was just like this perfect like unification of my dreams and talents.
That's cool. Well, and that actually, it's really interesting how symmetry sort of works.
Yeah.
Where like as you said, you get to emote, you get to express, and you don't have to create everything from whole cloth. It is set for you.
Right.
But you get to channel your emotion through it.
Right.
And then be able to, that's a beautiful way to kind of show how, well, there's so many things in life that are linked, and so many expressions that are linked, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's such a special craft, I think, we have as actors. Like it's there's nothing like it in the world, and I feel so blessed to be able to do it and to have found it. And and I love all the characters that I've been given. Like I just like, it's such an honor to do what I do. So yeah.
Now, this is something that probably changes for everybody as they kind of go through these things. But do you have a favorite type of character or a least favorite type of character?
No, I don't have a least favorite type of character because I learned in acting class very early on that you don't judge your characters, because I would get a character and I'd be like, no, this girl is a bitch. I'm not gonna. And then you learn quickly that you can't judge the person. And then once you realize what the character is doing and why they're doing it, then it becomes like this beautiful, wonderful thing to represent. And do I have a favorite character to play? I think, well, obviously it's fun to play a villain.
Sure.
Yeah, that's kind of delicious, I think. Or what else do I like to play? I think just like a full rounded, wonderful written kind of character. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. That was kind of what I was thinking, because, there's acting is so many different things with sitcoms and versus like superhero things versus drama. There are so many different levels of depth with characters. And actually, they just asked, do you prefer doing comedy or drama?
Right.
Overall?
I think I really love comedy.
Yeah.
I really love comedy because especially comedy that's live, the multicam, which are few and far between now. There's such a beautiful rush of approval from the audience when you hit that joke. Is just like, it's like live theater. I imagine. I've never done live theater, but I imagine it's something like that. Just beautiful feedback immediately. And when you do drama, although beautiful and you can have your space and your moment, like comedy is just very fast and you have to time it out, right?
Yeah.
And you can't, you have to breathe in the right spots. And with drama, you can kind of breathe anywhere you want. It's just,
right.
You give yourself the time to allow whatever feelings are going to come up. But you don't get that feedback right away, if ever. You're just like kind of with yourself or with your scene partner, and you're like, okay, I think it was good. I think we did it. Okay. But with comedy, man, when you hit it.
Yeah, that's really cool. With comedy, like you said, you get the instant reaction, whereas like most other things can be very insular, especially if it's a scene that you're just doing on your own.
Yeah.
Or if it's something that you're kind of feeling with whoever you're in the scene with.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, somebody asked, do you still engage in dance for fun? Are you able to do some of that?
So I want to so bad. There's a dance studio that I've been wanting to go back to. I had a baby a year ago, and so trying to leave the house is very challenging. But I have done like a Zoom ballet class, which has been very satisfying. But I only did it once. And I constantly, like at least twice a week, I'm like, I got to find a way to get to that class. And I just have not done it. But I do love dancing, and I love just moving my body. I think it's such a expressive. It just makes me feel good when I'm, getting a little depressed. Like I'll call my dad and he's like, have you moved your body lately? And I'm like, oh, no, I haven't. So then, I go out, I hike, or I do a little weightlifting or something in the house. I don't leave the house. But I think moving your body is really important, because that's part of our craft as well, is like, it's my whole being, right? So if my body is locked down, or if I'm not in tune with it, then I can't really connect to the feelings and what's going on in me. So important. But I do love dancing, and I miss it so much.
That's really cool. Yeah. And you're so right. Just it's amazing the endorphins that you get from doing that, and you feel more connected to yourself and to everything. When you move.
So important.
It is. It really is. It's a great question. I love Ed Asner as well. What was he like to work with?
Oh my God. He is a force. I think he was in his 90s. I don't know his exact age. He flew from Los Angeles to Atlanta to film with us, and we shoot very, very long. Oh, do you have I have a very good memory? I see. Joe Hubler. We have very long shooting days on Doom Patrol, like 14 to 17 hours, and he was on set all day. He was incredible. He was like, he reminded me of like just a salty sailor, like someone who has lived life and is not going to be like flustered about anything.
Yeah.
And extremely talented, obviously, and just a little salty, that guy.
Yeah. Now we're going to refrain from using names of things because the AMPTP sucks.
Sorry.
You guys don't. No, it's okay. You don't like. I just want to keep everybody in mind of that we're very respectful of the strike.
I am too. I just forgot.
No, it's all good. I just wanted to say to everybody that it's important that people are paid well, that people are as protected as possible.
Yes.
And like everybody, supporting the strikes and supporting unions is incredibly important, especially right now because AI is taking over everything. And while I myself have engaged in AI because there are really interesting little like aside things that can be done with it, and it's a great tool, it doesn't need to be the only thing because if, like I was telling somebody, if nobody has a job, there is no economy.
Correct.
So if everybody's out of a job,
how do we?
Nobody gets to do anything. And I'll just say this real quick. I don't want to get too into the weeds with it, but like, for the people that have said, "Oh, writing needs to be better," and all these kinds of things, some of the things that the studios are engaged in is also affecting the quality of writing because of first pass writing and some of these other things. So all of this is a big behemoth that needs to be tamed, and them paying people and appreciating the talent and the work that goes into the things that make them so much money is really important.
Yes.
Let me see, how do I go into? So I will refrain from using names because the AMPTP sucks until they pay up.
They suck.
And I want to get into fan creation. I think it would be amazing if all of the creatives, while this is going on, just start making their own stuff and just going off and just, oh, guess what? Here's like a whole thing that's independently created, and just watch this. And I don't know. Does your dance background inform the physicality of your? That's a great question. I'll try to reframe the other while you're looking at this one.
Yes. Yes, it does. I think that once again, it's like as an actor, you have your package and you need to know how it works. And I think dancing for me was a very grounding, like exercise, putting like my mind and my body together, especially ballet, which is such a graceful thing but takes so much concentration and technique. I've always wanted to try like a hip-hop class. Actually, I have, and I'm very not flowy. Like I can't like get a flow, and I admire the people who can move their bodies that way, but I'm very like kind of proper in my movements. And I think that informs most of my characters. A little uptight sometimes.
Well, everybody kind of has their own sort of approach with it, and and with the hip hop stuff, because there have been times when I've been kind of pulled out of my own comfort zone for different things, and sometimes sticking with that. I mean, there's no judgment of any kind at all, but like sticking with that, sometimes you can kind of break cycles or learn about our own processes that way, which is fascinating. We missed a question. What was that? Oh yeah, Brendan Fraser. What was it like working with Brendan?
Oh, he's a dream. He's a dream. If you could imagine your best, coziest, wonderfulest friend showing up to your house with hot cocoa and popcorn, that's Brendan Fraser. Like he's never done that. I wish. But he just literally has this cozy, wonderful, incredible, supportive, gentle energy that I've never. I'm like, are you real? Because he's had such an incredible life and a career, and he just won, this beautiful award, and he's just the most down-to-earth, friendliest, kindest guy, and like always on time, always off book, always ready to play.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's a gift. If you ever get a chance to work with him, you're lucky.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
The and Timothy Dalton, while we're on
Mr. Dalton. Mr. Dalton is a proper gentleman, extremely professional. He loves, I think, being a part. There's this lovely story of Timothy's work ethic. It was we were working on the first season, and we had just done his coverage, and I think it was probably 1 a.m, and they were like, okay, that's a wrap on Timothy. And he was like, excuse me, doesn't the rest of the cast need their coverage in this scene with me? And I know RD was like, yes, they do, but we'll just have a stand-in do it. It's no problem. And he was like, absolutely not. He's like, how are they supposed to perform without me? I am part of this. And so he stayed until 4 a.m. Which,
that's incredible. That's dedication. When you really care about what you're doing, and it means something to you, and you want everybody, because I've never understood that the other way of thinking, because you build a connection to the people that you're with, and if they're reacting to you, they're not going to react, even if they react well. I mean, I'm not saying that nobody's a professional without anybody else. No, it's not that. But if you have a different connection with every different kind of person. Yeah. And when you're going against just somebody just standing there for you to look at, that's great and all, but unless you're on the Muppet Show, and you could just, it doesn't matter. Oh no, is that shoot? Sorry, my bad. That's my bad. AMPTP still sucks. Anyway, it's so hard to do. Anyway. Yeah. But to play against the person that you actually are working with, you're going to react to them in a way that's more consistent with the way you've been working with them.
Absolutely. Yes.
And it makes such a difference. That's awesome.
He loves the craft so much. He's a craftier.
Yeah. Now I do want to I'll get to let's do this one now, and then I've got another one. But any wacky audition stories?
Nothing. I've had some horrible auditions. I don't know if they're wacky per se, but the one that comes to mind that's just awful. So hang in there, kids, because it's not all butterflies and honey. I went in to play an FBI agent, and I know now I am a warm, fuzzy. I have a range, but threatening FBI agent probably is a reach for me. And so I tried, and then the casting director was like, go ahead and try it again. Then I tried it again, and then he was like, okay, do you want to try it again? And I was like, yeah, I got this. I'm good. Okay, I got this. And then I did it again, and he stopped me in the middle, and he was like, okay. He's like, so, not everyone can play everything. And I was like, uh-huh. And he's like, so you might want to tell your agents that you're not an FBI agent. And I was like, I knew that walking in. I wanted to turn down the audition, but I was like, nope, I'm an actor. I can do this. And it was just a little heartbreaking. The casting director was basically like, get out and don't come back.
Oh my God. Well, I mean,
Oh,
I
and
guess.
then there's a piece de resistance at the end. I had to go back into the office and get my validation for parking. So
Oh
that
no.
was also very embarrassing. Just like,
Nothing like asking for validation after feeling invalidated.
yeah, it was awful.
Oh my God. Well, okay, now that's kind of interesting with, looking at the different types of roles, because like, in comedy and okay, so when working on like a sitcom or something like that,
Yeah.
what is do you have a particular favorite memory on the set of any sitcom work?
Oh man. Oh, the thing about sitcoms is that there's always good energy.
Yeah.
There's always like incredible everyone is happy to be there because the
Mhm.
schedules are great, the work
Yeah.
hours aren't too long, the payoff is incredible. You're working with fun material. Nobody has to like dredge up these heavy emotions. Um gosh, is there one I think it's just the energy. I remember really loving the energy. I remember when you mess up a line, when I mess up a line, there's a big laugh from the audience. Then you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
gotta do it again. But if you mess up 2 times in a row, then it's not so funny anymore.
Right.
You're like, I better get my line right. I think there's nothing specific that comes to mind, but my favorite part is like before you perform live, you rehearse all week, and then on Fridays or Thursdays you do a live performance
Yep.
in front of a studio audience. And before that, you're in the dressing room with all the actors, and you do a quick read for lines
Yep.
of all the scenes from beginning to end, and it takes like 15 minutes, and it's such good energy, and you can feel the energy of the people outside in the audience. And then they have like an audience warmer up. So there's like this, you can hear that everyone's excited. Are you excited? It's like a football game I don't know, but it's the best. It's just so much energy, so much beautiful. Yeah, I loved it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now of course this is different with sitcoms than would be with anything else, but for not sitcom work, what would you say? Do you have different methods for approaching different types of roles? Do you kind of have an underlying theme for how you get started in approaching something?
Right. What do I do? Well, if it's a specific genre,
Yeah.
I'll watch what's already been done. I don't want to
Yeah.
reinvent the wheel. So if it's
Yeah.
something I've never done, but someone else has done it, I'll watch what they did.
Okay.
It's always good to like steal as much as you can from all of your fellow actors, because you'll do it in a different way, like you
Right.
just feel because you're a different person. But I
Yeah.
think
Nothing funnels the same way through anybody. Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah.
exactly. So that's always exciting. You're like, I'll take it. And then I do a lot of breakdown of I don't do a backstory for a character. I know a lot of people do that. I just look at my objective,
Yep.
and then I fill in the blanks of like, what is this person really saying, and how is it that they get what they want? Is it with humor? Is it with sexuality? Is it with being humble, playing dumb? I just fill in the blanks that way. And then with comedy, it's a rhythm, right? So comedy,
Yep.
you have to be off book. There's no room for like, let me find my line really quick.
Right.
And with drama, there's this flow, right? I find that when it's best for me not to be off book when I'm doing drama, because then I can let things breathe a little bit and then kind of go down and get the line. And then there's like this nice behavior that sometimes happens with that's unexpected, leaving room for that magic to happen.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now, a follow-up question kind of on that. When it comes to a property that is based on something else, there are two very understandable schools of thought. As a general rule, do you find yourself looking at any of the source material, or do you find yourself not because you don't want the source material to color a differing direction that the show itself might go?
Right. I think a little dabble do ya. Like, I think
Right.
it's good to dip a foot in, but not make it your Bible, right?
Right.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you kind of get a general idea, and then you like step back and give yourself space to fill it in.
Yeah. That's because that has to be a really tough tightrope to walk. It would have to be a tough tightrope to walk for somebody that's invested in the material.
Right.
Yes, certain things that I've done, I actually will write like whole things of what they do after and all of this kind of craziness. And then, but it's tough because if that's not the direction that anybody wants to go, you're just kind of like by yourself in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly. You're like, I'm on an island.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody's looking at you like, what? Why? Just why? Put that question back up. I missed it. Any stories when you guest starred on a show about a pretend psychic that shall not be named?
A pretend psychic. Okay. Don't kill me. I don't know that show. What show is it? What is
I can feel you warm and fuzzy, and it's wonderful. That's awesome.
Good. Thank you. I can feel you're warm and fuzzy too. I don't know the show about the pretend psychic. I should. I don't remember. I'm a bad actor. I'm kind
of blanking too. It's okay.
Okay, good. Oh, good. We're in this together.
Not just you.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
well,
it was amazing, and I always have. That show was amazing. Once again, I have been blessed with like being on incredible shows. So that show, playing the sister of one of the main characters, there was a polar bear on set. Like, it was like, I'm telling you, we have the most exciting lives sometimes. Like, it's just, what is my point? My point is, it was great. It was incredible. And can I say names?
Yeah, not names of shows, but names of actors. And
was working with Neil Patrick Harris. Cool, super cool. Yes. Okay. Also, my lifetime dream, like, Neil Patrick Harris has skyrocketed into this incredible Broadway, wonderful. He's incredible, but he also was Doogie Howser, and I had a big crush on him when I was little. And so
cool.
To be able to work with Doogie Howser, maybe you guys don't know, maybe it was before your time, but it was incredible.
It's not before mine, but maybe theirs. I was born in February of 1980, so I'm slightly older, but not by much.
It's such a great month. It's a good month. It's
I mean, awesome. Not as much, and it's not as great in Iowa because the snow usually sucks. But other than that, we're good.
Oh no, yeah, that's not. You're like birthday party indoors again. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like it's Valentine's Day, and then 2 days later is my birthday. So it's
that's nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Right.
Any pre-tape rituals?
Well, I used to. I was a bad baby. I used to smoke cigarettes before a pre-tape, which was a very, very cool. I was like, I got this. My nerves got this. Don't worry. We're good.
Right.
I quit, I don't know, like 7 years ago. So that's done.
Okay.
So
congratulations, by the way.
Everyone, that's bad news. Thank you. But now it's more, I think you just like, this is what I do on set. You have these little sides, right? These sides are like this size. And like right before taping, if it's a very wordy thing, I like, look, and then I throw them. Then I go. That's now my pre-tape ritual.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, it's part of the dramatics, right? It kind of psychs you up and gets you into the mindset.
That's it. Yeah. It's like very present, right? You're very present with the words, and that's cool.
Yeah. Is there any kind of work that you have not done yet that you would like to, whether it be animation or
you know, like voiceover to me seems really cool. I know it's like hard to kind of break into because it's its own art form that I haven't researched or practiced much, but it just seems very cool to be a cartoon. Be very fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would like that.
And the nice thing, you don't have to worry about makeup or anything, right?
No, that's right. No, you
shows
just
up.
show up. You're
Yeah.
like in your pajamas, your glasses. You're like, okay, let's do it.
Except for the days that they're filming, for the days that they're filming for behind the scenes. Then you got, then you get ready. But the rest of the time,
then you'll shower.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, I'll shower. That's fine.
Right. Yeah. Once a year, it's fine. The no.
Yeah.
But is there anyone that you would like to work with? Talking about putting something out into the universe, is there anyone that you would like to work with that you've not yet?
Is there someone I would like? All of them. I not anyone who I watch on TV or film that makes me feel something is who I want to work with. I'm like, oh, that person knows what they're doing. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's like, Meryl Streep. Sure. Obviously Meryl Streep. But I mean, that's the one.
Okay.
One. Yeah.
That's cool.
Anybody who like takes the craft seriously and is vulnerable and connected, I'm like, sign me up.
That's cool. Cool. Now we were kind of talking about like a little bit about process and everything. Have you dabbled at all in well, no, I'm blanking.
Magic?
Yeah. Well, sure.
Which craft you know?
while I'm thinking about what I meant to say, have you tried? Have you what other things have you? Actually, that's a much better way to look at it. Is there anything that you have had to do for an acting role that you then thought, you know what, I just need to try this. This would be fun, whether it be magic, whether it be like, I don't know, horseback riding, whatever.
Right. Nothing actually specific, but there is this incredible thing of like, I remember this was like 10 years ago, maybe. My friend and I, we did trapeze and we practiced trapeze in Santa Monica, which was so much fun. And I was like, I can put this on my resume now. Like I can be like anything that makes me kind of more educated in different venues, like ice skating. Like if I went to go, like anything, like I can add that into my repertoire of things. And I think that's so cool. And most of the time there's like this beautiful synchronicity that comes along. And like sometimes I'll be like doing some random thing and then a job will come, and it's not that it's required, but it's like, or an audition, like a violin player, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm learning violin, this is perfect. And I don't necessarily get the job, but I'm like, there's all these like little magical, like you're on the right track, you're bettering yourself, you're part of the world, stuff like that.
That's awesome. And now I remember the other thing. Have you ever dabbled in anything method?
Method. Not so methody.
Yeah. I got that sense. I got that sense already, but I just had to ask.
Yeah, not so methody. I don't know if my little heart can take it, but I do. I really love Meisner. I think that keeps in the moment very good. Stanislavski, which is great. Like I love substitution. Some people it doesn't really work for because it's kind of heady. But for me, if you're walking into a cold room, I can't look at someone and be like, I love you. And I met you before. Like, so I have to play make believe a little bit with my life experiences.
Yeah, no, totally. Are there any fun stories from the set of A Lawyer with the Soul of a Diva?
With the soul of a diva. Yes. Okay. Well, so many fun stories from that set. Which one do I want to tell you? It's been so long. We all were shooting in Georgia.
Yep.
And that was rough because at that point, not many productions were in Atlanta. So we were like one of two. And we lived in Peachtree City, and that's how you got around, is these golf carts. So it was basically like, we felt like we were in college. It was like, there's no one around. Well, we only know us. Like, we know the Starbucks girls. We're like, hey, good morning, Starbucks girls.
Right.
A little tiny town. And, you know, it was just, I don't know if there's anything, one specific fun thing that I can tell you, but we did that for 6 years. And I think that we just became like this wonderful dysfunctional family, like very, and it was the best show because like all the storylines were fun. And, you know, like, I don't know, I just loved everybody in the show. Like we've been blessed. I've been blessed to have like really incredible castmates who take their jobs very seriously. I know that the lead of that show, we played best friends, and she would do her coverage like in an emotional scene, and I would do my coverage, and she would just always show up. She would always, like, whatever she did in her coverage, she would do in my coverage. And those, once again, very long days. You know, you get one scene that takes 4.5 hours to shoot, and she would just, and I'm just like, what? Because that's the kind of, you know, generosity was on the set, and it was just incredible. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Any stories about working with Charlie Sheen and John Cryer?
Oh, the best team. Weren't they the best team?
Yeah. Yeah, so much fun.
They, like, I mean, they just were incredible. I think, you know, is there a good story? They just were so friendly and warm and loving. I remember okay, this is a funny one. I had been, my character was given like a diamond necklace from John Cryer's character in the episode. And that was the storyline. And I had shown up to work and I was wearing a diamond necklace, but it was my own personal, like, it was a small little, you know, like, ooh. And so we were rehearsing the scene. Charlie is like in the middle of the scene, and he looks and he's like, is that the fucking necklace they gave you? And he's like, we got to get props. Like, this is not. And I was like, no, this is my necklace. And he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, he was so apologetic. But you know, he's got that wry, dry sense of humor. So it just, everyone was laughing, and it was hilarious. It was just,
that's phenomenal.
I was like, oh, you mean boy.
Right.
But they were such a good, they had such incredible rhythm, like true Odd Couple, you know, like just really magic and charismatic. And then, you know, Conchata Ferrell was such an incredible part of that as well. Like, she had incredible energy, and I admire her work from ages ago. She was in one of my favorite movies called Nadia Comaneci, Nadia. And yeah, I loved her in that. Like, she's had such like a gravelly voice. Like, I loved her voice. So I'm sad she's not with us anymore. But,
yeah. It's really interesting, like textures. I look at, I kind of take in people's voices and all kinds of, it's almost like sounds have such interesting textures. And it's kind of cool to play around with them. And, you know, because I've done a little bit of voiceover work, and in very specific places, but still, and it's just fascinating to try those textures on and just kind of say, like, oh, how do you know? Like, the other day I was doing what's essentially a Corey Feldman impression, and the back of my throat hurt so bad
Oh wow, interesting.
Because like just trying to change your voice for different stuff
Yeah.
and putting it into places where, like, because I'm a singer, it's the main thing I do. But then
Yeah.
trying to spending like 45 minutes going, hey guys, and it just tears the back. But it's fascinating it's still fun and fascinating to like play around with those things and
Right.
just kind
Yeah.
of
You have to.
try them. Yeah, almost like trying them on like garments or something, just to kind of see, how's the fit,
Exactly. Yes. It's brave. It's
yeah,
important.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, has there been anything like that you've experimented with that you thought, oh gosh, I like that. That feels good. And not even just for the character, but also just in general.
Yeah, I took singing lessons, which is very uncomfortable for me. I don't like singing. I like singing, but I like singing bad. Like,
Okay.
I'm very comfortable singing bad. It's when I try to sing well that I get very uncomfortable. Um, so I took singing lessons a couple years ago, and I started to get mildly comfortable with it.
Yep.
And then in the last show I was in, my character falls in love and she has to do this song, and I was terrified, but also appreciated that I had some ability to do it, and I love it, but I'm also so terrified to do it, and it takes a lot of practice and a lot of not sounding good, and so that's why I avoid it. But I love it. Like, when I do hit a note, I'm like, oh my god, but I don't know how to do that repetitively. So I'm like, wow.
Yeah. It's definitely a time thing. I've been singing since I was about 3, and so it's a time thing. Like, and and like anything else, it's like a muscle. Like, the more you kind of play with it, it's Stephen, great question. Would you ever want to direct?
Oh no, I've decided. I'll tell you why, Steve. Because I like to go home at the end of the night. Like, I have noticed that the directors are look, actors have to go in there early to get their hair and makeup done. We're kind of there when, when crew arrives, and directors come later. But directors go home and then they have to look and prepare the scene. Did we get this? Did we get that? What are the shots that we had to drop because we ran out of time? And they're also really good problem solvers.
Yeah.
I feel like if I hit a wall, I'm like, all right, let's go to lunch. Like, I want to go home now. But directors are like, okay, we have a problem, we have to solve it. And I'm not good at that. I'm like, let's call it. We'll pick it up later.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm actually envious, because I'm one of those obsessive compulsives that has a really hard time. Like, so if I see something, I'm like, oh, I need to fix this, and this needs to be, and I will sit there for hours and hours and hours, and I just like, So,
that's amazing. I don't have that.
I wish I didn't, because it gets me in more trouble than
right.
Because it's really bad. It's bad when I'm in charge of something. It's really bad when I'm not.
Right. Interesting. Okay. Because you're like, excuse me, we have to fix this immediately.
Yeah.
Wow.
I missed this. I didn't get that. We need to, this should be here. Like, I can't. It's
but then that's great. Then you would make a good director in that capacity, I think. Yeah.
I'd go nuts, but it would be,
You would go nuts. Exactly.
Yeah. It would be a masterpiece if you took off the M. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Bad joke. So what is acting with special effects like? How do you enjoy it? Like, what was your first experience working with special effects?
Right. I love it, actually. I feel like, in a weird way, it adds so much. I mean, you have special effects with like things blowing up, which is really, really cool, because then you really react.
Yeah.
The time it takes for them to set up and make sure everyone is safe is a complete art in itself. Like, oh, God bless our stunts team and special effects. But the special effects with like, like the dots, and imagining like you're growing or whatever. That's really cool because you can really let I like it because it's definitely like a defined moment where my character can have her breakdown or whatever. So like when they come in and they put the dots on, then I know like, okay, now we get to go all the way.
Right.
And so I like it. And I like to see what they do with it, because you don't know. They just come in and put the dots on and then they leave. You're like, okay, I'm doing the best. And then when you finally see the episode, you're like, oh my God, that's what they did. Like, this is incredible. So I really like it. I think it's very, very cool.
That's cool. Was there ever an experience with that where either the way it was played out on the script or what they were kind of telling you to do in the day, when you watched the final product and you're like, wow, they found that in the edit, that is totally not what we were doing?
No.
No. Okay. I had to ask, because sometimes, because special effects change so much. Right. Editing, Final Cut in editing and all that kind of stuff can change, and then you're like, oh, it's not this, now it's a dragon or whatever.
No, it's a thing. No, yeah, they were very by the book, and I think it was just a very I always wondered when I got scripts how they were gonna shoot it. I'm like, there's no way this is gonna happen. Like, I don't know how they're gonna do this. Right. And then when you see it done, it's mind-blowing. I'm like, they did it. How did they do that? That's incredible. It's always better actually than I had imagined it. They do it that well.
That's cool. Yeah. And actually, and speaking of that, that's another group of folks that are probably going to have to go on strike before too long, because from what I understand, they're overworked, they're underpaid. There's a lot of that going on.
It's crazy.
It's a pattern with the ham PTP.
I'm like, just share the, I don't understand why it's all at the top and not, it's supposed to sprinkle down. That's like the whole point. Like,
all I can think of is Jim Carrey, because his blessings are raining upon me. Wait, that's not rain. Anyway, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, Bill, that's exactly, and if people can't survive on creating something, especially things that everybody loves, to not have an implicit understanding. Mm-hmm. I mean, even Harry Ford, for all of the crazy stuff he did, now how bad he was in a lot of ways, even he was smart enough to realize, if people can't afford to buy my car, I'm not going to sell any.
Right.
So anyway, so sorry, I could get I could get into that all day long.
Because it's insanity. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. Also because it's an entire industry that you're,
Exactly. Yeah, and it's up and down the board. You can't. Anytime you have a concentration, I understand. Hey, wanting to be because we talked about this before. I understand wanting to be in charge because you want things to be handled a certain way. But if you don't also have an eye on wanting to make sure everybody's treated well,
we have a problem.
Yeah, you can't expect anybody to stay. Like, no one's gonna, everybody's gonna cycle through, and eventually they're gonna be like, whoa, this sucks, I'm gone. And with the independents and the independent studios are signing the interim contract.
Right.
So, or at least some of them are, and they're the ones that get to proceed with making their stuff. So you think that everybody,
get on board. I don't know.
Yeah. If it's a couple of years and everybody goes to independence, that actually splinters power. So that's something, but it's still, there's a lot of people that do still get screwed in that scenario. So
exactly, like the whole
Yeah.
industry. It's just like we have, like what are all the caterers doing right now? Like it's just
exactly. Yeah.
everyone is affected by it. It's really
Mhm.
awful. It's awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's bad news
Yeah.
bears.
Okay, so moving to more fun topics. Sorry everybody, that's my bad. That's my bad. That's I get into that wheelhouse so easy. Playing a character who was an actress from the 50s. Were there any starlets from that decade? Great question. That you drew inspiration from for the role.
Yes. So there was this incredible. Okay, there was a Twilight Zone episode, I think called. I think it was called The Actress.
Yeah.
I drew inspiration from that, but Betty Davis,
Yeah.
Katharine Hepburn. Betty Davis had a film called The Star, and she is an actress who is getting older and is losing her confidence as a woman and as a young woman, and she kind of goes crazy at the end. Like it's genuinely like such an inspiring film that I built into the character that I played. Yeah, just any 50 starlet. I mean, just
That's cool.
Keep them coming,
Yeah.
But mostly Betty Davis, Katharine Hepburn. Yeah.
Okay. Now speaking of, do you have? I mean, I get the impression that you kind of soak in sort of everything, which is lovely and wonderful. Is there any particular decade that you like to, when you're just picking a movie for yourself or picking something to watch for yourself? Is there a particular decade you just kind of like to hang in? Is it just all over the board?
It's kind of all over the board. Right now, my husband and I are really into Korean dramas.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because they're very warm and nothing really bad happens.
Right?
Yeah. And they're very character driven.
Yeah.
And the stories are like compelling, and that most of the time just all about love and connection. So we're going through that right now, and it's fantastic. But and then on occasion we watch like some really good sci-fi. But yeah, basically Korean drama and sci-fi.
That's cool. So with sci-fi, do you find yourself gravitating more toward sci-fi that's I would imagine more on the positive, like the cleaner utopias, or do you go for more of like the dystopian thing? Like is there something in there that you kind of gravitate more toward, or is it just kind of whatever?
What do I like? I like space. I like a world unexplored. I like a little bit of space war. But with like, it has to have like a very connected character. For me, story is not interesting if you can't connect to the characters. So but yeah
cool.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of the show about stellar voyages?
Yes. I feel like I'm on Jeopardy. Yes, I am.
Exactly. What is this question? No.
Yes. I am a fan. My dad is a huge fan, so I think that's where I also got it from.
That's cool. Yeah. Do you have a favorite episode of the comic book show?
Yes, episode 4, season 1. I know that because my character got to like, it was just my favorite because my character got to like yell at, I had this beautiful like monologue, and part of it was where my character was like unraveling and feeling pressure, and so she like lost it, and it was just such a fun monologue to do. Once again, thank you writers.
Yes.
Because that like stays with me, and I feel like I served the writing so well, and the writing spoke to me so well, and that I got to create this energy.
Mm.
So yes, season 1, episode 4.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself preferring the like if for something that goes on a while, do you find yourself preferring the start of something or more once everybody's kind of on the same page and and it's moving, it's been a few seasons? Like, is there an energy that is there one energy that you enjoy more than another?
What do I like? I think I like a few episodes in.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if a show, yeah, I have a first episodes are really hard. They're really hard. Pilot episodes are so hard to make interesting and good, and you kind of have to hang in there. And I'm about a 3-episode girl. If it's not grabbing me after 3 episodes, I either ask a friend and they're like, no, it's the 6th episode, it gets amazing, and then I'll hang in there. But if everyone is like, no, what it is that's what it is, then I'm like, bye, see you later, I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah. Go ahead and bring that question back up if you would, because
Sorry.
I missed. There we go. Any fun stories from that comedy movie about a restaurant with a fish in its name from years ago?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah.
What an incredible dude. Also one that's not with us anymore. Such a bummer. Such a force, such a voice, like giant of a man.
Yeah.
Really funny. Those guys, Broken Lizards. Can I say that?
Yeah. We'll edit it in post or something. I don't know.
Oh yes.
Okay.
They are so much fun to work with. Every day was like just like it felt like a comedy troupe. Like I was part of a comedy troupe going in, and I got to work with Chloe Smolders on that as well, and she was incredible. Just I mean, was there anything specific? No, it was just like this wild, wonderful. Everyone showed up on time. Everyone was cracking ideas the whole time. Like it was a very safe set in the sense of that you got to play, and play was, supported, and like if you had an idea, you could try the idea. And also the guys were just so funny that you would just laugh all the time. And it was just the best. It was just the best experience. We shot in the Valley. I think like in the winter. It was also, I don't know, man. It was, I'm going on and on, but it was just like an incredible, wonderful experience. Those guys are so talented.
That's awesome. Yeah. And sometimes when you find a team that you really vibe with, and that's kind of what I was sort of getting at, is there are people that I want to meet new people and have new experiences and different experiences. And then there are folks that are like, when it's a tight knit group and everybody really feels and we're all really connected and we're just like going, that's, and both are really fun and fascinating. But sometimes some people are more like, I'm more like this and I'm more like that.
I see. Yeah. I'm a tight knit group. I like a tight knit group. Yeah. Group.
Well, the other thing I was going to ask is, is there any place that you haven't been that you would like to travel to for something, or you think would be fascinating to travel to something? And also, is there any place that you visited just personally that you're like, you know what, I'd love to film here?
Oh, so many places.
Right?
Yes. Well, I've never been to Greece, and I really want to go. There's been multiple times where I've almost gone, and then it's not worked out. But it just seems so magical with the blue water and the white architecture and like the homes and the colors and the food and the people. Like it seems amazing. So I would really love to go to Greece. And then if I could work somewhere that I would love, I was lucky enough to get a movie that shot in England during COVID. And it was such a blessing because I was very scared. It was like, you know, the height of COVID and like, do we leave our house? Do we not? And I remember talking with the producer. He was like, you know, you should do this film. And I was like, no, I don't know if I can fly. And he was like, he was so incredible. He was like, look, COVID is here to stay. And you can either like start living your life or you can not. And it was so incredible. And so I got on a plane and I flew to England, and it was the most incredible experience. So I feel very blessed to have been able to work during COVID and in a different country, which kind of had like this lighter, no, it wasn't lighter. It was just a different perspective. And to be in a different location was beautiful, and to be working was incredible. And it just made me feel whole and, you know, hopeful. So once again, work, so important. And I would love to shoot in England again. It was such a romantic, beautiful, the sun came out and like there were ducks everywhere and the parks are beautiful. Like the coffee was great. Like, I don't know. I just had the best time.
That's awesome. Yeah. The now another question. Do you like to improv a lot?
You know, here's the thing. I don't really, it's kind of like the scariest thing. Like when people are like, okay, we're going to do improv. I'm like deer in a headlights. Like, I don't know. What about the script? Let's stay on the script.
Right.
So I think if I could play with someone who was very comfortable with improv, and then I could just relax without having to feel like I was performing improv, then I would do okay. But to be like, all right, let's improv. And I know rules to improv, and that scares me so much because I'm like, what are the rules? What are the rules?
Right. Yeah. Now, do you find now I know I think we're starting to run a bit over, but I was going to say, like, would you prefer something that was more like you've got the script, but you can play around? Like the script is sort of like the general sandbox, and then you get to play a little bit and see where it goes a little bit beyond that.
Right. Yes.
As opposed to just pure improv and anything can happen. And
correct. I like a safety net underneath me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to write the scene myself. They're like, okay, here's the circumstances, go. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I am not a writer. They are their own treasure and I need them.
Yes. It's funny when you were saying I need a net. My first thought was there's an old Dean Martin joke, and he says the officer said, "Walk that white line." I said, "I ain't walking that white line unless you put a net under it."
There you go. Yes, it's so perfect. Dean. Yes.
Oh, I love Dean. I enjoy like everything up to Maroon 5 and everything else, but I love Dean Martin, and I'm a massive Elvis fan. Oh my gosh, yeah. So yeah, as a matter of fact, that's one of the things I did voiceover on. If you went into Lowe's or whatever and you saw like Christmas ornaments and stuff that would sing, they would sing Elvis songs or whatever. That was my voice you were hearing.
Stop it!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
So yeah, it was fun.
Well done. Very fun.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it was a blast. And most of the time I wasn't just Elvis's voice. I was the backup singers too.
Oh my
which
God,
is because I got to know the Jordanaires. But I mean, there's one of the bass singer is still alive, but I got to know the Jordanaires very well. So you get around people enough. And actually, that's one more question. And I'm waiting for somebody to get the hook for me. But one more question is there when creating or playing someone that either where you've met the creator or you've met the person or people that have influenced that, do you have you had that experience? What or is that something that you would like to experience?
To meet the creator?
Yeah. if you're playing a character that was created by someone or is based on someone, to
Right.
meet that person to get their input on the character.
Right? Wouldn't it be incredible? Yes, 100%. I feel like as an actor, unless it's the specific where you don't need the information, I think the more information, the better, and from different sources.
Yeah.
I think our job is to kind of be a detective and to get to the bottom of different whatever there is to know. So I think the more information, the better, and then you can weed out whatever you want.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's kind of an interesting thing. Has there ever been a time where there was something that you just felt in a direction for either a character motivation or something like that, that you got a little bit into the script and you're like, oh, never mind.
Like, no, we weren't going to do that. Like, I'm like, I have a great idea. And then I'm like, oh, it can't happen that way with that. I feel like sometimes it does happen, right? Where you feel like you've reached this like epiphany. You're like, aha, I know this person. And then like, you like turn the page and then she like dies on page 6. You're like, oh,
exactly.
No, I guess not. Yeah, I feel like all the time, but I also love that about our job is that like you just don't know what's going to happen, and it is our job to be like, I've fallen in love, like I've done it, and then there's always the
yeah. Hi, Dan.
Hi guys. I just wanted to jump in and let you guys know that we're over the 7 p.m. mark.
Okay.
So I was going to say, if we don't want to keep April any longer,
sure,
we have to. Although it has been a pleasure.
Yes, this is a joy. Such a joy to meet you. This has been lovely. And I'm on Instagram as Jamie A. Kelly. If
Jamie A. Kelly. All right.
Yep.
Jamie
if you
A.
want
Kelly.
Yep. And that I have that, and I've also invited all of my folks that are fans, and this is a book, so I can say the book of the Twilight novels over at Eternal Edward.
I did say Twilight Zone. Shoot.
Oh yeah. So we're big fans of the books.
Okay.
And and again, AMPTP sucks.
Yes.
So
yes.
But
the
books are amazing. And but anyway, April, this has been a joy and a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yay, thank you. Such a pleasure, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for helping, because this is going to be, I mean, the donations that have come in and everything. We really appreciate everybody. Please go to the link down below and make a donation. And everybody, one simple wish is really great and wonderful. And thank you to everybody today. And again, April, it's been an absolute pleasure. Tell your family hello from us. And
all right, you guys, thank you. Thank you for doing this.
April, I just want to say, the most difficult thing I've had this weekend is I had to tell Dwight Schultz we need to move on. I had to tell the ladies from Three Company we had to move on, and now I've got to tell you too. It has been a pleasure, and thank you.
Yeah,
such a pleasure.
Before you go, I just want to let you know that we are currently at $1,046 for the weekend.
Yes!
Yay!
And it's because of folks like you who volunteered your time to come out and speak with our fans, and we are just so grateful for that. Thank you very much.
So grateful. Thank you for doing this. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful charity. So well done, you guys.
Awesome.
Great cause. Jamie, all right. Thank you.
Well, I was going to say, Jamie, great job moderating too. I was going to say, if you guys just want to leave the studio, I'll wrap up, and then we're going to put this one in the books and call it history.
Okay. Love it.
Beautiful. All right. Everybody, good to see you. Again. We love you all. Be good to yourselves and each other, and support the SAG-AFTRA and Writers Guild strikes.
Thank you.
Yep. And so, see you all out there.
Bye.
Watch the show about stellar voyages, because it's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, guys. I'm going to bring Kristen on real quick, unless she tells me no. I'm going to bring her on. Hey, Kristen.
Hey.
Christian, for the folks who see this, I just want to say thank you for putting this event on. For folks who don't know, Christian is the one who really brought all this together. She's the one who got us our celebrities. She's the one who brought this team together, and none of this would have been possible without her. She's definitely the VIP of this weekend. And thank you for me, and I thank you for the rest of the team too.
Thank you. And everybody worked really hard. And the link will be open for a few more days. Let's go as high as we can.
I was going to say we met the initial goal of over $1,000, but I think 1,500 is going to be better. And anything after that, I'm saying, yeah, let's do this thing. Make it rain, people. Come on.
Grant some wishes.
Yes. Again, One Simple Wish. If you go to the website for One Simple Wish, you will see these kids are not asking for the world. They're asking, a lot of them are just asking for some basic things that a lot of kids and even adults take for granted. And the great thing about it too is that some of these wishes are as low as $10. I saw some that were only for like $30, $40. For what you would spend going out and getting fast food for yourself and a loved one, you can make a huge difference in the life of a lot of kids that have been through hell. So please consider that. I thank you for joining us this weekend. It has been a pleasure. Christian, I'm going to give you the final word and make it so.
Make it so.
Make it so.
Thank you to everyone who's watching. Thank you to everyone who's already donated. Just keep those numbers up. Some of these kids just want things as simple as bed sheets, toiletries, like things we take for granted. So let's give them as much as we can. And see you next year.
I will say one last thing to all the celebrities. I will say I've been involved with a lot of conventions. I have never been involved with a show where we didn't have a stinker in the bunch. Every guest was delightful, charming, giving, and just superb. If you weren't with us for the live stream, but you're catching us now, go back and watch the videos and realize that if you support One Simple Wish this year, it's going to make it possible to make next year's show even bigger and better. Mm-hmm. That's what we're shooting for.
Yes.
Now I'll give you the last word, and then I'll end the stream.
Yeah. So I get the last word now.
Last.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, the link will be open for a few more days. Let's get as much. We want to go sky high and help these kids as much as we can. So thank you. And come back next year.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.